Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Design Dorks Gaiden, the show where I release an episode 5 minutes before we start recording and use the excuse so that I don't have to focus on how well it's performing. We are roughly 15 minutes into me releasing an episode on Captain Falcon, and I am doing everything in my power to look at everything else. I am Pyrr. With me, as always, is the slightly less neurotic.
I don't know about slightly less neurotic. I can't live up to that title, but hey, the Duke of Dorks here. Happy to enable Pyrr because YouTube analytics are scary.
Yes, but they're my favorite drug.
Yes,
I love them. I inject it directly into my veins, and then the fireworks happen, and I go, ooh!
Yeah, but then sometimes you don't get the sample size that you were advertised, and then you just feel bad.
Yeah, they don't happen for a while because Spampton destroyed my ability to have success. He's just like, no, I'm eating all of the success right now. Mine!
It's okay. I plateaued at the Zelda video years ago. I get you.
You can make it back.
Oh, I'm sure.
Like, look at how well Waddle Dee's doing.
Yeah, but it's because he's Waddle Dee.
Yeah, but he's doing better than Zelda and Rayman.
I mean, true.
Like you go ask to an average person and go, hey, which do you prefer? The princess that you mistake for the main character of the series, or the idealized form of humanity?
If Bandana D ever gets into Smash Brothers, that needs to be his boxing ring title. Just the idealized version of humanity. That'd be beautiful. But anyways, yeah, we're back for this is our April episode of Design Dorks Gaiden. Just talking about the games we've played, the new stories that have happened, what we've been working on, all that good stuff.
I don't know about you, but April kicked my butt, and I mostly defaulted to playing older games.
It was awful for me. I moved through it, didn't play games for like half of it because of that. But like the stress is gone now, I can relax moving forward. Well, not relax, but I can like be sane moving forward.
Oh yeah, gosh. No, our theater's opening back up where I work my day job, and had one of the actors go down with COVID, so I learned his role in 3 days and opened the show. This was on top of me being in 3 other shows in the past week and a half.
Well done that you're still alive after all that.
Yeah. But no, everything ended up going well and whatnot, but my god, stress. It'll get ya.
No, yeah, just, I feel that. You are preaching to the choir, my friend.
Yep. But you know what won't get ya, and what will always keep you hopeful? That's right, it's King K. Rool. It's time for the K. Rool Watch.
That's right, it's King K. Rool.
There is no King K. Rool. Damn it.
Nope. Like, the closest we got was the later alligator thing you talked about last time. No crocodiles to be seen.
It's very disappointing. I mean, I am looking forward to the Platonic Friends title, Little Gator Game, because it's a game about where you get to be a little gator. But that is not King K. Rool. But you know what? I feel him. He's still in my heart. He's still in my hope. We've got the end of the year wide open for Nintendo. They're leaving that wide open for Donkey Kong. Shut up, Pokemon. It's all Donkey Kong.
I mean, I got a solid month and a half till the June Direct. Like, that's like the best chance apart from like maybe Game Awards or something like that. I don't know.
Exactly. He's coming.
I believe. I will have to sing. I've made my peace with it.
You will. I'll give you many options. We can have an album by the end of it.
Oh no.
If like K. Rool appears in multiple games, you have to sing a song per.
Well, watch that be what like really makes our channels take off. It's not like design analysis or anything like that. It's just Donkey Kong cover songs.
Oh gosh. You ever heard Ailstorm's cover of one of the DKC cartoon songs?
I have not.
Oh, they're a professional pirate rock metal band, and they covered Pirate Scorn from the cartoon.
Oh,
it is rad.
Oh, no, I want to hear it now.
Yeah, no, it is great. Remind me if you remember, and I'll throw it your way.
I will probably be reminded when I re-edit the footage for this.
Exactly. All right, so video games. First game that I played this month because I was guilty about not playing games this month. Blue's Clues, Blue's Alphabet Book. This is a Blue's Clues game for the Game Boy Color. And let me tell you, it is a Blue's Clues game for the Game Boy Color. They have great games in here, like the one where you match the sounds and the colors from Donkey Kong Country 3. Simon, it's called Simon. They have Match the Things. They have Is this shape the same as this word? They have find the alphabet letters in the alphabet soup to find the word cup. Now you may be asking yourself, Pyrr, why the hell did you play this game? What could possess you to play Blue's Clues, Blue's Alphabet Book? And let me tell you something, brother. This game has crushed up digitized voice clips of Steve saying that I'm really smart. Every time he'll go, wow, you're really smart. And that gives me the absolute most mild feeling of joy imaginable. This is probably the least amount of positive feelings I can have toward a game while still being a net positive. So therefore, this game exists so that I can officially call any game worse than it a bad game.
Nice.
Blue's Clues, Blue's Alphabet Book is the new futility line. Check it out.
I like that. That feels like a nice bar to set for greatness in the video game industry.
Yes. Can you beat the bare minimum of I feel a little happy?
I mean, you can't scoff at the validation from Steve going, like, you're smart. Like,
exactly.
Of all the figures from my childhood, that's like top 10.
Yes. 100%. Like him, Scrooge McDuck, and Mr. Rogers are all duking it out for my competence, while Donkey Kong just watches and go, yes, you may all be second place. But yeah, I had that for a quickie. I also played, on a similar vein, Darkwing Duck for the NES.
Nice.
And this is Mega Man. Like, it's just Mega Man.
Okay, yeah, I can picture that.
And what I wanted to do was I wanted to go into this because, you know, DuckTales has a pristine reputation as a video game. Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers has something similar. This one I was just curious about. It came later than those games, but I wanted to see what kind of vibe that it brought. And what's fascinating about it is that it's designed around you having only 4 hit points.
Okay.
That makes stages significantly tougher than Mega Man because you're allowed to make less mistakes.
Yeah.
And healing is less plentiful. There's a unique kind of tension where, like, they can be a little less bullshit, but there's still this constant feeling of tension. It's also very vertically designed. Darkwing has this move where he can hang off the bottom of platforms and then jump up them. So it has a very unique feeling of flow. Like, I would say that this is a different way of expanding Mega Man 2, whereas the slide is a lateral improvement, this is a vertical improvement. And it makes for really unique level design that feels good to play.
Interesting.
Yeah. It has power-up weapons, because Darkwing Duck has a gas shooting gun, and he can get, like, heavy gas and spread gas, and all of the power-ups suck. Every single one is bad, and not as good as just going pew 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 pew. Bosses are super simplistic, but again, since you only have 4 health points, they're a lot more challenging, a lot more unique, because there's this added feeling of tension, despite them being easier than Robot Masters most of the time. And what this game does is not exceptional. I don't think that there's any level that stands out. I think the music is very good. It actually fits the sort of jazzy Darkwing Duck tonality of the show. But what it does great is personality, because it's just like straight up Disney thugs, like full-on Beagle Boys that are just reduced to little sprites that you're just shooting down. There are banana peels scattered about, and Darkwing can trip over them, and it'll put him into a little stun state. It loves being a cartoon, and it knows it's one. And that's fun. Do I think that this is a great game or an all-timer? No, I think it's a bit cheap in some places. I think it's a bit straightforward in some places. But probably my favorite moment in the game is the ending credits, because it's just Darkwing Duck on its motorcycle, and, you know, it's playing that usual Proto Man, sad Mega Man credits theme where it's all wistful and whatnot. And it does that for a solid 45 seconds. And then he trips over a rock and goes flying into the moon, and the Darkwing Duck theme starts playing.
Oh, I miss those kind of games. Disney kind of just stopped making, like, those charming cartoon platformers. Was it 2000-ish? Didn't really come back into,
I'd say thereabouts.
But yeah, those are always a delight.
Yeah.
Didn't even know there was a Darkwing Duck game, so I'm glad to hear that it's got that same... Like, it's not going to live up to DuckTales, because nothing's going to live up to that DuckTales game, but...
Right. Oh gosh, the remastered version is so good.
Yes, I love it so much.
I think that was the last performance by Scrooge's original voice actor. I believe he was in his 90s when he recorded those lines.
Yeah, what a legacy.
God, love him.
I just have 2 quick little updates on games that I have been playing recently. Still trying to play Elden Ring a lot. It's been hard because I have access to it through my brother's shared library with me, and he's always playing it.
That's understandable.
But I did manage to escape the Crystal Centipede of Doom without summoning allies. I managed to do it. Turns out if you just try to run for the exits, it works. So, that's always nice.
Yeah, cowardice is the finest form of valor.
Got out of there. Damn, I haven't progressed as much in the game as I would like, although I'm still having just so much fun with it. Like, when that addictive loop of just, okay, this boss is just kicking my ass, let's learn it, I did it, and just, that dopamine rush every time. I also found the hub area, and there's, it's a strange, subversion. You find this lady that's just like, just be with me for a second. It's a tradition. It's like, is this like some sort of weird sex scene in a Dark Souls game? But she just kind of cradles you for a second, gives you just a small hug. It's like, there, it's gonna be okay. And it's the sweetest thing I've ever seen, and I never would have expected that from a Souls game.
Oh.
Just like, yeah, my poor little guy, he just needs a hug. He's been through a lot. Thanks, lady.
Is this the pretty blue girl that I see all the fan art of?
No.
Okay.
Just some strange, unexpected wholesomeness from the Souls series. Warmed my heart. Then I just had I specifically wrote down Joy Mech Fight solely to complain about Gibber. I hate Gibber so much. For people that don't know, Gibber is one of the 36 fighters in Joy Mech Fight, which again, 36 fighters, what the hell?
On a Famicom game.
It is this, how do I describe this? Where most of the Joy Mech fighters, you got the torso head situation, the Rayman kind of body type. Gibber's face is on its chest. It's got a little hat above it, a little helmet, which makes Gibber significantly lower to the ground than literally every other fighter. And since the hitboxes only hit the torso and the head, or in Gibber's case, his hat, he just low profiles through half of the attacks on the cast. I play I the most, and my gap closer literally can't hit him. And
yeah. And
Gibber is a character that you need to use a gap closer against because his arm, he's Min. Yes. But Min that can punch upwards. After having that discussion about Min, I'm starting to second guess whether she needs to be able to punch upwards, because Gibber being able to, he covers the entire screen.
Well, yeah, but just get good, or better yet, throw Min out and put Gibber in Smash.
Oh God. You know what? That might actually work better. Gibber's got no mobility whatsoever.
Exactly, and he's got that face. Just imagine losing to him.
Just that stupid frog grin. Just his goofy-looking glowbox ass, and it's just.
Oh my God!
Oh, I hate him. He's not immune to just holding forward with I. That does still work, just mashing that good punch. But god damn, does it feel bad? Just be like, okay, no, I can't outskill you. I just have to meme you.
Oh, but that's fighting games, baby. That's it. You learn and you adapt, or you die.
Indeed. Oh, something else I wanted to bring up about it that it kind of gets overlooked. That didn't even cover it in the video, but that game saves replays of when you beat every single boss.
Oh yes, it does.
How does a Famicom do that?
I don't know.
That's replay, it's saving. That game's wizardry.
Yeah, games today don't do that. That game's almost 30 years old now.
I had an audible just shut the fuck up. No, you are not, when it started doing that.
Ba 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 ba.
Keeps track of the exact move that you're that's button inputs.
Yeah.
Smashing
and memorizes your position on the screen.
Yeah, Joy Mech Fight. It's just a good game.
It's really good. It's in my top 100.
Hell yeah. Honestly, probably mine too.
Hell yeah! I'll take it. I played a bunch of Demon Turf. And by a bunch, I mean the first world. And Demon Turf is a 3D platformer, and the closest analog I have to it is Sonic Robo Blast 2, where it's a flat 2D-ish character in a 3D environment. This is part of the Platonic Friends initiative, where Platonic is helping indie developers publish their own games, and this is another 3D platformer.
Oh, okay, I had to look up Roboblast, but yeah, I remember
Sonic
this.
Yeah, no, Roboblast is fantastic. Like, that could be the best 3D Sonic game, which means it could be the best Sonic game. But yeah, Demon Turf is a fun little game. You are a little demon named Beebs, and you jump around an environment so that you can take over hell from the Demon King by collecting a bunch of batteries that fuel the turfs of other demon gangs so that you can power up gates to sneak into his house and, I don't know, beat his shit up or something.
Okay.
It's got that very much like Banjo Tooie by way of Disgaea. It's very sardonic, but it also very much knows that it's a video game and it leans into it hard. It leans into popular culture a lot. Beebs calls a giant pig boss a real porker, an absolute unit, a big chungus in the same sentence.
Okay, if it's the same sentence, that's a little heavy-handed, but
it's a little much. It's much. It is much, and at first I wasn't really jiving with this game. I thought that it has an okay introduction level, and then it drops you into its hub world, and, you know, it's hell, so it's having some fun with the geometry, but I found it makes it a bit hard to navigate, and it's a lot of very simplistic reds and oranges and browns in various geometric shapes. And while I think it adds a bit to the identity of the world, I think that it makes it a bit ugly to look at, as well as a bit hard to differentiate different areas and really get a sense of the terrain. I had a little bit of stiffness. The game crashed on me twice. I was playing on Switch, and I would just beat a level and it wouldn't load the completion screen.
Oh.
So I was ready to put it down, but I went back, and this is a challenging 3D platformer. Like, I would call the first world that I'm in, which is like sort of a Western-style town, but in hell, I would say it starts at about the difficulty of Mario 64's Tick-Tock Clock. It's expecting you to wall jump and cross over very narrow pathways and whatnot, and the levels are all differentiated into small one-offs, similar to Spyro 1 or Sly Cooper 1.
Okay.
And this gives them they're very, very tight levels where you're just trying to explore and get to the top. Like, one of the first levels is literally, okay, climb a giant tower that is a bank vault, and there is literally a clock hand that you have to cross. So it is very, very intentional. And then you jump down it through an array of lasers, and it's really rather fun to do so. This game has a good sense of forward momentum. You have a double jump, and then you have a little flutter. But if you do jump, flutter, jump, you launch yourself forward like a dive. And that gives you a big burst of speed forward, so you have essentially the choice of taking things carefully or blasting through. It takes me about 10 minutes to first clear a level and collect all the collectibles, and then they say, oh, well, here's a time. Can you beat the level in 2 minutes?
Oh.
And it's very much designed both around doing a couple little challenges off the beaten path and then speeding through it. And I think that it is interesting. I think that this game is unrefined as hell, and I think it is a little bit annoying in tone. I won't lie. I like it at some points, but at some points I think you're going a little far there, guys. Or I've seen the song and dance before pretty similarly. But when it gets going, it gets going. They just released a $5 version that's just all speedrunning levels. It's Demon Turf Neon something, which I also picked up. And I haven't touched that yet, but I think if you wanted a sample of that, then that might be a good place to start. If you wanted a 3D platformer that's a little harder than what you're used to.
All right. Sounds like it's got heart.
It does. And then I watched through Guilty Gear Strive Another Story. And this is just, okay, guys, we're Guilty Gear. Here is a 40-minute anime OVA as free DLC.
Of course.
And I sat through it and I watched it. It stars Baiken and it stars Bedman's sister Delilah. And they're both edgy emo teenagers trying to bond with each other, and that's great. As someone who knows the Guilty Gear lore, I could barely tell what was going on, but it was fun. And sometimes the animation was impressive, and sometimes it was, oh dear, oh, you're really moving the models around in your Gmod, aren't you? It's got an almost intoxicating amateurish quality, but then sometimes you go, yeah, that's so good! And then it's just so confusing of, okay, what actually happened here?
It's Guilty Gear. I'm pretty sure they don't even know.
But there's a major character death in this. But it happens like 2 minutes before the end, and it's never mentioned or brought up or given any sort of importance. You just see the character die. So it's like that feeling from Avatar: The Last Airbender where they go, did Jet just die?
You know, it was really unclear.
It's exactly that. And I'm like, I have to look up, did he die? Yes, this character died, okay. It's 40 minutes, you can find it on YouTube, you won't know what's happening.
Excellent. I watched the original story for Guilty Gear Strive. I was equally confused, but equally delighted. Probably check that out as well.
I love that, yeah. I wish Happy Chaos were in it more. I just love Happy Chaos.
You're like Robbie Damon.
Yes. If you'd like to get Robbie Damon to guest star in this podcast, thank you.
That's not happening, but good grief, I would love that.
I'm putting it out in the universe so I can continue to hope. After K. Rool comes, it's Robbie Damon Watch.
Damon Watch!
It won't be creepy at all. I just want him to come on the podcast so I can go up to him and say, hello, sir. I like the way you scream. Please move on to the next section.
Okay. Sorry, that threw me for a loop. So after gushing about Kirby last time, I've been playing through the game more with my brother and just noticing more things, so I have with me a list of things that I forgot to mention last time that I want to talk about this time.
Okay, do we need a spoiler warning right now?
Yes, we do need a spoiler warning right now, because I'm not going to care about it one way or the other.
Hell yeah, neither will I. I have 100% of the game now.
Yay! Okay, so 5 seconds, skips the timestamp. You can find it easily in the comments or description. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. So, just gonna go down the list here. We talked about a lot about remixes last time, just how good the Forgotten Land soundtrack is at capturing different motifs, but still building on them in different directions. Makes the songs almost feel like sequels to the songs rather than remixes of them, which is just fantastic.
Agreed.
Something I forgot to mention last time, through the tunnel, the second level is Quiet Forest, the second level of Kirby 64, and that just made me cry, just straight up.
Oh yeah, it is.
That's Adeline's level.
Yeah.
That stabbed me right through the heart. The Waddle Dee band is called the Deedly Dees, which just how can you...
they're the Deedly Dees? I read it as Deadly Dees.
I did as well, but then I went back, and then I liked Deadly Dees more at first, but then I realized that it kind of sounds like they named themselves after their ruler, after King Dedede, and that's just adorable. And I just think of them in all Ned Flanders mustaches. Hey, we're the Deedly Dees. Exactly. I mentioned last time that if you steal Meta Knight's sword, it gives you he pulls out his own his old sword, which is just phenomenal.
Yes.
I had my brother do that the first time we fought that boss. Something awesome about that is that if you don't own the Meta Knight power-up, that is the first time you can get it.
Yes.
So you can literally get the Meta Knight power-up by fighting Meta Knight, and that's just fantastic.
Yes, it's the same way with Phantom, even if you have Morpho Sword.
Nice!
It will, if you eat Phantom Meta Knight Sword, it will put you back at Meta Knight.
Oh dear, did that, mess up your run in one of those?
No. Yes.
That's fine. Morpho Knight's sword is broken.
Well,
I love it.
I think that was in one of my runs where I was going inhale only.
Oh, okay. Just being further gypped over my desire to get a 0-3 fight. Chaos Elphalus literally has the exact same color scheme.
Yes.
But I got so tunnel visioned on that so that when you finally beat it and started talking to me about it, I was complaining about that. And you said, you do realize it's basically Miracle Matter, right? And there's 5 seconds just sitting there and be like, wait, oh my god, it totally is!
Yeah, no, the instant it does the cutter attack, I'm like, oh, I know what you are.
Although, to be fair, that's something that the Void does as well. It's got a lot of moves from the Void, but it's got the same, kind of the eyeballs with the red things, and it's just like, it's
got the
nice
same
reference.
like orbital motion to it.
Yeah. What else? Sleep animations. When you go into the little room in Kirby's house, you can just go to sleep, and you have different animations of Bandana D's playing co-op. Like, Kirby literally kicks Bandana D out of the bed. It's just hilarious and adorable. I watched them like 20 times.
Yes, betrayal.
In the Arrival Mall stage, there is a woofie that's just slowly making its way through the stage. Like, you barely pay any attention to it because it's just starting at, like, the very intro of it, but if you actually slowly walk with it for, like, it takes, like, 5 minutes to get through the entire stage, it'll actually lead you to a secret area that you never would have found otherwise with one of those blue coins in it to give you, like, 100 of the stars.
Oh, that's just, great.
Like, little Easter eggs like that are all over the place in this game. Like, there's one whirlpool that, unlike the rest of them, you can actually drop down into a secret area. Like, there's so many good secrets. So many good secrets.
The desert hotel.
Yeah. Something we didn't mention the last time about the amazing truck sequence. It's playing the Invincible thing during the whole thing.
Yes,
just,
but it's the extended cut.
Yeah, and it just adds to the feeling of just like, yeah! Even more.
Yes.
And also, if you play that co-op, Bandana D's just holding onto the truck for dear life, and it's just amazing to behold.
I'm pissed off because I didn't know about Morpho Knight Sword's secret attacks. No one told me until I was on stream and Connor was playing, which you can check out at twitch.tv/designing4. If you hold shield, you get 2 extra attacks with the Morpho Knight Sword.
Oh, yeah.
The little Elfalin souls and the off waves.
Yeah, I didn't know the off waves were there.
Oh, yeah, if you do shield and attack in the air.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah, I was so pissed off having done my full run.
That is hilarious. Something to know for next time, though.
Exactly. But yeah, that final arena, that was fun as hell.
Right? Oh my gosh. Like, I appreciate
boss, them taking mercy on you with the easy continue, but I did not take that. I refuse.
Same. Just my pride wouldn't let me.
That said, I did need Morpho. I didn't take any upgrades. I was like, okay, you get upgrades or you get Morpho. One or the other.
Yeah, the lifesteal on that sword just saved my life so many times. I'm pretty sure I like ate through 3 health bars, but the sword was just stealing it back.
I think I can do everything abilityless except for Chaos Alphaless 1. Like, I will not have enough health to do Chaos Alphaless 2 if I do not have Morpho for phase 1.
It's an insane boss. I love that fight so much.
Oh, yes. Beautiful.
Like, is that... I don't want to... Like, recency bias, I don't want to call that the best Kirby boss fight, but just the environment,
it is.
the music, just the difficulty, the challenge, the sheer spectacle. Like, it summons a giant skyscraper of itself.
Yeah, the only boss that comes close to me is Stardream Solo S.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
And, like, I love Void Astral Birth. I love that 4-phase fight. It's incredible. It's probably the best capstone to 2D Kirby. This tops it.
Yeah,
on its first
easy.
Try.
And just like, I can't wait to see what they do next with like more final bosses. Like, it's so good.
So good to have a good video game.
Right? And I do have 3 more things I need to bring up real quick.
Do it.
Forgo DDD's power-up. If you hold it down, like you hold the charge, the hammers will eventually explode, like Diddy Kong's peanut pop gun in Smash Brothers.
Okay, love that for him.
That's just hilarious. I don't know if I'd call this a knock against the game, because it was so funny, but do you know the area in Redgar Lands, when you're skating across all the lava?
Yes.
That is a nightmare to do co-op.
Oh, I'd imagine so.
Because you can't keep up, so you're just kind of just teleporting behind him, and then you fall straight into the lava over and over and over again. It's still very much not designed for co-op, but I kind of like that it isn't, because when you design for co-op, you kind of limit a lot of what you can design the levels for.
Yeah.
I'd rather have it this way than without all these
Agreed.
Aspects. And then just one small, simple thing that I love so much. My favorite obstacle in all Kirby games is when they just like put those falling blocks and then just litter sleep power-ups all over them that you have to maneuver around. When I found that, I think it's in the ice world. Like I was laughing hysterically. Just I Because you only start seeing the sleep power-ups when you're already, like, committed to running across them. Just have that realization of, oh no, please don't touch me, please don't touch me. Oh, this game's just serotonin through and through.
I love this game so much.
But that's all I want. I just wanted to go through the list and just continue gushing.
Yeah, let's just capstone that game that we loved last month. We love it more.
Yep. Not recency bias, it's just genuinely. I think it's my second favorite Kirby game. Maybe first, like, it hasn't quite overtaken the nostalgia of 64, but it's getting close.
I don't think it's physically possible for it to topple Superstar for me, but I think it might be better than Robobot.
I'd agree.
Oh, it's hard to say that. It's so hard to say that Robobot's so good.
I mean, it just goes to show how good this one is.
Yeah, I know. Robobot was the best game of 2016, hands down.
Yeah?
Like, only Doom came close.
Oh, ooh.
Yeah, no. That was Doom, Kirby, and Overwatch. And Overwatch has long since fallen off of that conversation.
Yeah. That'd be close for me. But regardless, the fact that you're just talking about Kirby in the same breath.
Oh, and Titanfall 2.
Oh, Titanfall 2 is really good, though.
Titanfall 2 is really good.
That time level, man. Like, oh, that time level.
And then the one immediately after that has the fastball special.
Exactly! It's amazing!
That's one of the best 1-2 punches of levels in games.
Good games. 2016 was a good year.
I didn't think it was when I was in it, but then I went back to it and I'm like, damn!
Hindsight's 2020.
Damn, your top is stacked.
Any other gushing about Kirby?
No, I am satisfied, unless I have not mentioned Silly Dillo up to this point, in which case I fucking love Silly Dillo.
Yes. Silly Dillo is the best.
Like, that is he's probably the king of my one-off Kirby character appearances.
Just watch it become, like, a shopkeeper in future. You just buy, like, power-ups or, like, references to, like, previous Kirby characters through Silly Dillo. No, Silly Dillo's gonna make the next collectibles for the next game.
Oh, and if he starts making sculptures of all your new friends, like, I want to see Silly Dillo made Dream Friends.
Yes! That would be amazing.
Or, like, you see a silhouette of, like, Marks or something as a boss, and then it just all falls apart, and Silly Dillo comes up, and it's Silly Dillo again. Just do the K-Rool fake out, but with Silly Dillo.
Oh, I would love that. Like, after the boss fight, Marks comes out and was like, ha, we tricked you.
I got you. And then he shoots your friend. It's like, prank!
Just a prank, Kirby! Okay, so...
All right.
The first medium discussion I have today was the game I was looking forward to of April, and that was LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga.
I have only seen Youngling combos about this game. Tell me more.
Okay, Youngling combos.
Oh, please, I've seen one of the Prime modders of Devil May Cry 5 added a void and a free Youngling for you to practice your combos in this game. Because he noticed there was a restand and went, yo, there's tech here.
That's amazing. Yeah, this is a game that, like, near and dear to my heart. Like, I've been playing the LEGO Star Wars games since, when did that one come out? Like, 5th grade?
That sounds right.
Yeah, like, I love LEGO games so much. So I was, like, so excited to, like, see them, like, really trying to revitalize the series with like, everything new they're trying to do in Skywalker Saga. Get into the game, like, I'm so excited. And, so this game has a very close camera behind the character. Mm-hmm. And the camera bobs as you run, and it does this weird thing where, like, zoom out a little bit once you start running. I cannot play this game without getting motion sick.
Oh no.
It is so disappointing. It's not so unbearable that I can't play. Like, you can mess with the settings a little bit. I can, like, still tank through it, but I can't get through more than, like, an hour while playing this game. And it's just why? Why would you do that?
That is so disappointing.
Why would you do that to a camera? Especially when the LEGO Star Wars, like, all the LEGO games prior had, like, really fixed cameras that, like, made it easy for everybody to play. That's why it was one of the best games to play with other people, because even people that didn't really like video games or couldn't handle playing video games could. But now it's just, oh, my stomach can't handle it. It's because they tried to do a lot to, like, make it more action focused. Like, you got, like, combos now, you got, like, epic firefights. At least they look that way. But you can kind of just mash buttons through all of it.
Well, admittedly, that sounds very LEGO.
It does, but it comes at the cost of a lot of the, for lack of a better term, parkour of the previous LEGO games. Just kind of making your way around levels and finding different secrets.
Okay.
It's a lot more spectacle over substance, which is it's still fun. Like, the more spectacle allows for just more LEGO humor, which is always a good time.
Right.
There are so many just hilarious moments. Like, one that comes to mind is when it's Anakin's nightmare when he's like, oh no, what's happening to my mom? And then Padme wakes him up, which first of all, they're on separate bunk beds because it's a LEGO game and that's just hilarious.
Right.
And then Padme's like, oh no, do you have a nightmare? Oh, did it have sand in it again? And Anakin's like, yes, but that's not the point.
Oh wait, it has voice acting?
Oh yeah, not only does it have voice acting, they got the voice actors from the Clone Wars series to do
really
all of it.
Is it good?
It is phenomenal.
Does it fit? Because, like, part of my love for this is just the silent humor of it. It felt very cartoon, so.
There's plenty of both. Don't worry. And there's, like, an option to turn it into the basic mumble language of the
okay,
the previous
never
games.
mind.
So it's toggleable.
Okay, all of my criticisms are gone.
Yeah, but, like, I wouldn't do it anyways, because as soon as I realized that, wait, they actually got the voice actors from the Clone Wars, and that's just... Hearing Darth Maul's voice actor do the Jawa's Utini just warms my heart.
Good.
Darth Maul's level is called Better Call Maul. That's a Breaking Bad reference. Just there's so much little referential humor and just delight, and I wish I could play it properly.
That sounds like an awful shame.
Yeah, I will say that even with that, it kind of just makes me appreciate the original games more. There just is more to do in those levels. I think the hub worlds of Skywalker Saga are stronger. Like, there's just more to do in them. But they lose out on a lot of the specific challenges that the original games had.
Is this a game where you're going to try to go back, or is this a game where you're going to look up the cutscenes on YouTube?
I think this is a game where I'm going to look up the cutscenes on YouTube.
Okay, but are you going to enjoy the hell out of them?
I am going to enjoy the hell out of them so much. Like,
Good.
The dialogue is hilarious. The prop humor is on point. Silent humor's great. It's just the actual game isn't as good.
Well, that's disappointing.
Yeah, it's a bit of a shame, but well, it's on par with what half of Star Wars has been lately. So I did hear that there were a lot of problems developing this game, which, having played it, it kind of makes sense. Kind of feels like they started with the scope of all the different worlds, and were so overwhelmed trying to fit that scope they forgot to, like, flesh out everything else. Also feels strangely rushed in the story, which I know is funny to say for a LEGO game.
Right, but they wrote the stories. They made 9 movies about the story.
Yeah, exactly.
How do you rush it? They made it, except for those ones that they rushed, but, like...
I think it's pacing. There's no breathing room between just different moments. You kind of just like, okay, we had this story moment, now fly to this planet so we can have the next story moment. Now fly to this planet so we can have the next story moment.
Okay, alright. Are certain movies favored more than others, or?
I've only done first episode, the second, the fourth, and the 7th.
Okay.
So I don't know. I have noticed that the sequel trilogies are riffed on a lot more than the other ones.
Good.
I will say, actually, no, like, I think from the sheer fact that they have the actual Clone Wars actors voicing the prequel trilogy, which just makes it feel more alive, for lack of a better way of putting it, they're able to do a lot more fun, have a lot more fun with voices and, like, character interactions there, because they've been doing that for significantly more time than any of the others.
Right, they're comfortable with it by then.
Yeah. I'd say in that case, the prequels are a little more favored.
Okay, that's interesting to hear. I just know that, like, when I go to a JoJo fighting game, I'm like, okay, part 3 is going to get a lot of lip service, and everything else, good luck.
I still had fun with just the Lego side of things. But yeah, was a bit of a dud.
Okay.
But that just happens sometimes. You gotta live with it.
Well, you want to know what's not a dud? Banjo-Kazooie Grunty's Revenge for the Game Boy Advanced in places. This is the GBA game that is a full-blown Banjo-Kazooie midquel developed by Rare. And this was part of their Game Boy Advanced initiative where they said, okay, THQ, we'll publish you one Banjo game, but also you have to publish our other 3 games, which includes a puzzle game titled It's Mr. Pants. And THQ was like, okay, but I'm only going to print like 8 copies of It's Mr. Pants. And they're like, it's okay, here's Banjo. And this is a Banjo-Kazooie game for the Game Boy Advanced, with as few compromises as they can manage. Like, did you ever play any of the handhelds or 3D platformers for the GBA, the Spyros, the Crashes?
I did experience the Rayman one. The one that is technically Rayman 4, but also not Rayman 4. Because it's a sequel, but also there was supposed to be a different one, and just it's a mess.
Did it have like a weird top-down isometric perspective?
Yeah, it had the Diablo perspective, which is just really odd for a Game Boy.
Yeah, this has that too. And it does not compromise with that, and it somehow makes a coherent 3D world out of it. It's not bad, it's just not good. As a world, it actually manages to function. The feel of Banjo is correct. The pacing of the game is correct. The issue is, if you have like 3 different ledges next to each other, you have no idea what kind of elevation they are until you jump into them. Like, this game is a perspective nightmare, constantly. And that hampers everything. Everything feels very sort of shoe-strung together. But on the other hand, it nails the tone of Banjo. The plot is that after Grunty gets buried under a rock, she gets sick of waiting, so Klungo builds her a robot body for her ghost to possess. So she goes back in time so that Banjo and Kazooie never meet by enslaving all of the Breegles. So Mumbo sends Banjo back in time to save Kazooie and beat up Grunty in the past. And, like, that's really, really Banjo.
No,
like,
yeah,
it's goofy and it's silly. The game does some really interesting things where, like, Mumbo is a crappy shaman at this point. Like, he needs you to beat up Grunty, because Grunty or Klungo have a boss fight in every world. He needs you to beat them up and take some of their magic so he can use it to transform you.
Okay.
And he's like sitting in his crappy disco pad. Like there's a little disco ball and swanky music and a lion skin rug on the ground. It's like, yo, this Mumbo's bachelor pad, yo. But the interesting thing is that Grunty's magic is so much naturally more powerful than Mumbo's that he can carry over his transformations into different worlds. So you can use any of the transformations in any world, and that opens up a lot of possibilities with the level design.
Interesting. So it's actually like doing something unique from the other Banjo games.
Yeah, it does a lot of really, really clever things, and it's very Banjo in tone. One of the worlds is like a lovely seaside tourist trap town, but Grunty has taken over, so it's become just a shit show with polluted water and whatnot. And the only NPCs are literal piles of shit.
Okay.
And they go, okay, can you find my shit children? And Banjo goes, sure, I'll find your shit children. And you save the shit children who want the crappy ice cream.
Of course.
And I think the best thing that I can say about this is that it feels like a really, really faithful Banjo fan game from the mid-2000s.
Okay.
Because, it gets the style, it gets the characters right, it gets the music right. Music is surprisingly enjoyable to listen to, even on GBA. It's on point, but at the same time, it's very much trying its best.
Okay.
And the reason that I bring this up is that this is a game that would not exist anymore. Like, there is no reason in any world for this game to exist for you to essentially port down a game to this kind of style. And it's such a game of concessions that, there's never going to be a stylized remake of this sort of game. There's never going to be something in the vein of, your Shovel Knights or your Octopaths or what have you that celebrate this era of gaming. This is just such a unique little, I don't want to say gem, but I want to say, cubic zirconium.
It's fascinating. Like, it's
It
not
is.
necessarily precious, but it's different. It's something that, like, that whole era of trying to do platformers on the handheld systems before they could really do platformers, and just how they tried to, like, finagle their way through that.
Yeah, because, like, I think that a majority of this game's ideas are good, except for the one time where they hide one of the note clusters behind an NPC that gives you hints and you can't see it at all. That was bullshit, guys. But, like, the final boss, because Banjo final bosses are usually much harder than the rest of the game, is a 3-phase endurance round between Gruntilda, and between every one of the phases, you have a quiz show.
Yes!
And, like, I was wondering how they would mix that in, and that's really, really clever. It turns it into just one big gauntlet. And it's so smart. At the same time, it's miserable to go through, and there's no saving between phases. So it's a 5-phase, like, 15-minute fight that if you die on the last phase, good luck, buddy.
And then I assume the questions are just the same every single time, so it's just...
Yes, but they're varied, but at the same time, it sometimes lets you play mini-games, and all of the mini-games in this game are shit.
That makes sense. That tracks.
Banjo games are usually pretty good, but no, this one is a weird isometric slide, and then for some reason they do a fishing minigame 3 times.
Okay, I do have to ask, is it better than Nuts and Bolts?
Nuts and Bolts is like a totally different game. I can't answer you honestly.
Okay, fair enough.
Like, you're comparing a platformer and the precursor to Minecraft. Like, to me, it's easier for me to say, yes, Banjo-Tooie is better than Metroid Prime, than Banjo-Kazooie Grunty's Revenge is better than Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts. Nuts and Bolts is doing what it wants to do, and it's doing it well, but you really have to get on its level to do it. This is doing what it wants, and it's doing it okay, but anyone could play this.
Okay.
And yeah, I just thought that this was a really, really interesting, like, little dive back through history. And maybe I'll pick up the other games that Rare did on the GBA. Banjo Pilot is crap, but I hear good things about Saberwolf. And It's Mr. Pants is literally based on Rare's old mailbag mascot, so...
Yeah, that's been just creeping in the back of my head anytime. What is that? You sparked my curiosity with a game called It's Mr. Pants.
It's Mr. Pants! He's Britain's most popular television star. They annexed part of the country and called it Pantsland because he's so popular.
But of course.
He stopped an alien invasion with his underpants. He's a hero.
And we will celebrate him as such.
Alright, so what else you got?
Okay, so I have to give a shout out to, Azul Small suggested, like, I was going on and on about my woes of just like, oh, I wanna experience Xenoblade Chronicles 3 to the fullest, because, like, the more I see of that game, the more I'm actually getting, like, cautiously, optimistically excited for it. But I just don't wanna go through 2. So Azul just like, yeah, just watch Chuggaaconroy play through the game. After a bit of thought, I was like, okay, yeah, I'll do that. So I have not been playing Xenoblade Chronicles 2, but I have been watching Chuggaaconroy play it. And that has been a fascinating experience.
Please don't tell me we have to reevaluate Pyrr and Mithra.
No, we don't.
Okay, good.
On one hand, my feelings toward this game haven't really changed at all. My problems are still there, and some of them are actually a bit worse now that I'm watching it again.
Oh no.
But on the other hand, there's a growing feeling that I put this. I want to like this game so badly. Like, I'm watching Chugga playthrough, and it's so frustrating seeing an experience where, like, if the problems I had with it didn't exist, I would love this game. It turns out that the tutorials in that game are just absolute dog shit. Like, they genuinely do not teach you how to play the game. And when you actually have Chugga, like, being there and like, no, this is actually how you're supposed to play, and it actually seems a lot more enjoyable.
Who would know? Knowing how to play the game improves your ability to play it.
Right? And before I had felt like the quality world building and writing from the first game were gone in this game, now that I'm watching it without as much, like, feeling as much time investment from actually, like, spending my own time playing in it, and it's showing me that, no, that's still there. Like, it's got an anime paint coating over all of it, but once you get past that, like, there's a good world here.
Nice.
And I was actually, like, pleasantly surprised by that. Like, there have been multiple points where I actually pause whatever I'm doing and start paying attention to the story because I can actually feel it getting a few hooks in me. But then the serious moments just pan the camera over to Pyrr's goofy-ass design, and I just, like, nearly choke on laughter. Like, it's so hard to have, like, oh, these characters are having, like, a very serious conversation, and then it just pans the camera, and, like, oh, right. Can't take any of these characters seriously.
Yeah, but there's one with the swirly glasses and the green hair and the disaster outfit. I like her.
Oh, gosh. Oh, Zeke and... I can't even remember. Numa? No, that's not.
I like them.
Pandora,
they seem like a disaster.
They are absolute disasters. It's so interesting. Like, I feel like if the overall tone of the story was more lighthearted, I'd enjoy it more because of characters like that. But as it stands now, it's just that... It's trying to do so many different things that don't mesh together. I will say now that I'm at least laughing at it now instead of being disappointed with it, so at least it's fun.
Okay.
What still has me disappointed and has me worried about the third game is the voice direction. I need to apologize to Rex, because I was scapegoating him so hard for just like, the game is so poorly voice directed, and like as the protagonist, him screaming is awful. But like, no, he does not deserve that because everybody is bad. There's not a single untainted performance in the entire game, which sucks because like the voice actors are all good, like Rex included even. They're just throwing darts blindfolded, trying to nail their performances, and they do land sometimes and it works, but then you just have moments like where like you can see in the animation where a character is clearly whispering or shouting, but the actors clearly don't know that, so they're just speaking normally. There was a moment where I was just in tears laughing because there's an epic sword clash between the protagonist and the antagonist, and all clearly strained against each other, but they're just talking normally as they're just arguing with each other. It's like, no, you can't do this, but this is my right, or just what, I don't remember the actual dialogue, but
I'm thrilled. I was hoping that we would go back to the days of Sonic Adventure voice direction.
It's comparable. And you have people just like being like, oh, I know that some of them are good. Malus is a great antagonist. Malus just has a deep voice. It's a good deep voice. It's pleasant to listen to his voice. But it's just, he clearly just doesn't know what his context is. He's just being told like, yeah, you're the bad guy. He's like, okay, I'll speak like a bad guy. And he speaks like a bad guy. He just doesn't need as much range.
Do you think he would be better if he were voiced by Robbie Daymond?
I mean, you can say that about literally any character. Come on.
Well, yes. But I'm not going to say that. Continuing.
And then there's the whole anime thing where the lines are stitched together, artificially sped up or slowed down to try and match lip sync, and it's really bad. It's so bad. It does lead to hilarity because, like, since I'm watching Chugga play it, any non-spoken dialogue is voiced by Chugga himself, and he actually has the context, which means that his one-man band vocal performance actually flows better compared to the actual voice performances.
So you're saying that we need Robbie Daymond and Chuggaaconroy on this podcast? Okay. And we'll go, okay, guys, here's the thing. We're overdubbing all of Xenoblade 2.
There was actually a design dork comment being like, hey, you should have guests on. Like, get Chuggaaconroy to, like, balance out the Xenoblade discussion. Which, like, aiming a little high there?
Oh, that's a bit lofty, my dude, but sure.
I am enjoying the experience. I'll say that now. Like, it's not always for the reason that the game wants me to enjoy it. Also, there's a neighbor mowing the lawn. Sorry if that's picking up over the microphone.
I can't hear it, so I'm fine.
Okay,
if you, the audience, can hear it, shut up.
But I'm having a similar enjoyment. I don't want to say to Sonic 06, because Sonic 06 is a terrible game, but it's that similar vein of it. What's bad here is still providing me entertainment value.
Bro, you can't insult Sonic 06 like that. That's like my 6th favorite Sonic game.
Yes, but it's fun because it's bad.
Yes, but it's so much better than just being okay.
It's the Jello Apocalypse rating system. Once you start getting into the low negative numbers, like a -9 is basically the same thing as a 9, just for completely different reasons.
Exactly, it's so bad. I love it.
Oh, just to head off the comment, because people always say this when I complain about voice acting. I know people like to say just play with the Japanese voices, but I hate having to read dialogue. I like to get really immersed in stories and having to bounce my eyes between, like, bottom of the screen and the action just to read whatever's going on. I miss things constantly. It's a barrier that I've only managed to tank through for Attack on Titan, and that actually just, that's it. Xenoblade 2 isn't worth that.
And I'll tank that. Just as someone who studied voice acting, I love being able to hear vocal inflections, and obviously I'm going to be able to understand actors' choices more easily in the language that I am not only accustomed to, but know how to act in. You can understand tonality and emotion universally, despite language, but there's a matter of subtlety that gets lost if you're doing it through subtitles. And that's not just the fact that you're diverting your eyes from the main action a little bit to read. I love subtitled media. There are some stories that I will only experience subbed. But if there is a good dub, if there is the ability to enjoy something, I want to see what those actors and what that effort put out.
I always see people be like, oh, you gotta respect the original voice actors, which I hate so much because that, like, implies that the dub actors aren't deserving of the respect. Like, just come on.
I do, but I am equipped by virtue of speaking in English to understand the English delivery a little better and more nuanced. Like, my ability to appreciate the work is more sharp in English.
Just to kind of give an example, because I agree, I feel the same way about it. The Japanese language flows in a different order than English. So, like, even though you have subtitles below, like, the specific words that they're, like, really enunciating to, like, really focus on, like, what they mean isn't going to match up with what they're speaking. And there's something lost there when you can't really follow, like, where they're putting emotion or focus into to, like, focus on highlight different aspects of the storytelling.
Yeah, it's just the pattern, the pacing of a conversation is completely different.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why dubbing is so hard.
Indeed. Especially since, like, it feels like it's just not given much respect. Like, it's kind of felt like an afterthought of, oh, we're translating this for people, let's just kind of just rush this out. Like, Xenoblade 2 was absolutely a rushed dub. Like, I think that was the first Xenoblade game that they had a simultaneous release.
Oh.
And, like, between, like, there's confirmation from the actors themselves that, like, yeah, this was a very, they barely gave us any direction.
Gotcha.
That's my biggest worry for 3. That, like, it's still a simultaneous release. It's actually, it's a moved up simultaneous release at that.
Right?
Which is like, yeah, okay, I don't know what you're smoking at Monolith Soft, but, like, could I have some of that productivity, please? I'd love it. Yeah, that's one worry. As well as I hope they don't have, like, they need to tone down the Nopon in this series. The Nopon are the little fuzzball sphere creatures.
Yes.
And there's just one in 2 named Tora. That's the one with the child-made robot.
Yes, the little horny one. The teddy, yes.
In the immortal words of Video Game Donkey, some weirdo shit. But, like, that's not even the worst thing about Tora. Like, in Xenoblade Combat, goodness, the characters always have, like, a set line of phrases that they constantly yell over and over and over again. Half of Tora's are just it going, meh, 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 meh. It's so annoying.
Oh.
It is just like a nervous tick of some kind, and not in, like, an endearing way.
Oh, you're taking me back to the dungeons of Persona 4, where every time Teddy walks, he makes a squeaking noise.
No, it's that exact same thing.
Oh no, I understand your visceral frustration there.
It's just, I mean, you have Chugga going the whole time. It's like, people say that Tora is annoying, and I just don't understand that when Tora's there literally going just like, meh, meh, meh.
I just don't see it.
That character is Un-Chuggaable. It's Un-Chuggable.
I'm not touching that word.
Wait. Okay, yeah, didn't think about that before it left my head. Oh well, I'll live with that.
All right, that's in. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the title, Un-Chuggaable Torna.
Oh god, yes. Oh, yes it is.
Okay.
Okay, that's all I have to say about Xenoblade 2. Like, I still have the same problems with it, but I found a way to enjoy it.
All right. So, I'd like to take you on a little journey. If you just close your eyes for a second, I'd like you to just fade off and imagine a lovely forest. It's early morning, sun is peeking through the branches.
Oh, yes.
There's a little stream. There's a tiny little friend, a little beaver in the stream. He's waving to you. He's like, hey, he's a cute little beaver friend. You love him. And you're out there with your grandfather. And your grandfather is cool. He's strongly built. He's got a cool white beard. He's wearing sunglasses. The sun isn't really peeking through all that much, but he thinks it makes him look cool, and you have to agree. And you're out here with him, and you're going to get firewood. And your grandfather is with you, and he goes, you know, this is the axe that I used as a boy. Now it is your time. Go and provide for the family. And he hands you this axe, and it is badly dented. It is splintered. There are holes in the handle, and in fact, there are maggots coming out of it. It's actually disgusting. You hate even holding onto it, but no, he gives you this maggot wood axe, and he smiles. That smile is not the caring smile of your grandfather. That is the smile of a demon. That is the smile of someone who knows that my childhood was terrible, and you're going to feel this exact same pain. So you start hacking away at the tree, and every so often your maggot wood axe shatters, and there's nothing that you could do about it. So you go back to your grandfather, and, you know, you're expecting a nice replacement axe or apologizing. He goes, nah, here you go. And he has another maggot wood axe that is exactly the same and exactly as shitty. And you keep going at that tree because you gotta cut down the tree, but it keeps shattering. But eventually, you start getting it, you start understanding, but sometimes it just shatters for no reason. And you know what? You have to go back, and you have to go all the way back to your grandfather, and he hands you another. But your grandfather is actually a druid, and when you fail to cut down the tree, he brings the tree back to full health. And you realize that this isn't your grandfather, this is the devil. And the devil is here to make sure that you never leave this forest. But you gotta cut down the tree, and then you turn back and you see the devil has a chainsaw, and he's just cutting down trees all the way that he wants to. And you're crying a little bit, but sometimes, as you keep on going, the devil gives you his chainsaw, and you keep on going and carving through, but sometimes you make a tiny mistake, and if you make any mistake, the devil kicks you in the balls and gives you the maggot wood axe again, and goes keep on going, and you realize this forest, it wasn't pretty at all. In fact, it was polluted and terrible. Those lovely rocks you saw are actually a pile of used syringes. That beautiful river that you saw is actually not a river at all. It's a pile of toxic sludge with used syringes in it. That beaver, it approaches you, and it takes off its beaver flesh, and it's a little leprechaun with a shotgun. And the leprechaun goes, oh, you best be going back to your home, me boyo. And you go, no, I have to keep going. And he goes, oh, well, looks like you're gonna have to keep on going. And then you keep on chopping trees down with your maggot wood axe, because that's the way men do it, while the leprechaun is shooting you. And then you do it. You get the firewood. You're made, you're set, you bring it back to your grandfather, the devil horns fade away, you present him with your work, he smiles, and he goes, do it again, and he breaks the wood right in front of you, and he hands you a butter knife. That is the experience of playing Super Ghouls and Ghosts.
That was beautiful. I was actually feeling kind of zen at the first bit there. It's like, oh, okay, yeah. But
I have never seen a game that knows exactly what it's being and simultaneously hates you. This is the next game in the Ghosts and Goblins series, and you know Ghosts and Goblins by reputation.
Oh, yeah.
It's a hard series. Your jump is super stiff. You have a double jump, but you're locked into your momentum whenever you do a jump. You have 2 hits, and you die. And that's the game. To its credit, this game is very, very generous because you can choose how many lives that you have, and if you start with 9 lives, then you will easily get enough points for a free continue within those 9 lives. So, like, even setting aside, like, being able to play this on the Switch and being able to rewind or make save states, which I avoided doing, this is a game that, with enough time, you can very much beat. The issue is the game hates you. It sets enemies explicitly in places where you are going to jump. It puts obstacles explicitly in difficult to reach areas. It puts enemies on an arc where it will hit a ladder as you're going down it, and you can't do anything when you're going up and down a ladder. You have to climb the ladder. So you have to time it perfectly, but you better not have an enemy from earlier in the stage, which will chase you all the way through the stage if you ignore it. And this is a game that it hates you, yet it's a game where you can get a full screen clearing nuke. Like, you just summon a giant dragon if you get the gold armor, which you have to go through basically half the stage completely untouched, and also find secret treasure chests that power you up in order to get it. Mm-hmm. But if you get it, you get a full screen clearing nuke, and you can spam it as much as you want.
Oh.
And it's still difficult because, like, platforms will spawn deliberately off tempo so that you die to them.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's a full game of that. There's a level that's like mode 7 technology where it tilts the stage and your character kind of has really awkward physics, so sometimes you'll just slip off a platform. Who the hell cares? And my favorite thing that it does is, you're aware of the Red Reamer, right? The little red devil.
Yes.
Stage, I believe, 6 or 7 in the game is a very small castle stage. And you walk forward, and there he is. And the entire first part of the stage is just you in a room with him. Fight him. And the thing about him is that he explicitly dodges your attacks. If he's not in an animation where he's attacking you, he will always, at the very last second, dodge right out of the way, even into a wall or floor.
Oh, no.
He is the worst. It's kind of amazing. So, it's a duel, and it will cost you more lives than the actual level design. So then you beat him, you climb up a ladder, and there's another one. There's a second one, and it's just there, and you just have to deal with him. And if you skip the first one, now you have 2 of them!
Yes!
And if you skip both of them, now you're locked in a room that has 2 cockatrice heads, and you have to beat the cockatrice heads in order to progress down the ladders. But if the Red Reamers are still there, then you have to simultaneously bait their AI so they don't attack you while beating the cockatrice heads. And it's much easier to do that than just beating them one-on-one. So you get past that. Maybe you beat all of them. You go down the ladder, and there's a third one. So you get past that, and that's the entire stage. It's like 5 enemies.
I love that so much. I hate to play it.
But it is miserable. And then at the end of the game, the princess goes, "Oh, Arthur, you are the bravest and coolest man. But you're not good enough to beat Satan. Quickly, I discarded my bracelet on the way here. Can you go back and get it for me and then come back?" So it restarts you at the start of the game. But this time, it spawns a bracelet weapon. And this weapon sucks. But you have to bring it to the end of the game. That's the only way to unlock the final boss. And it only spawns on the second run.
Oh, no.
I did not do this.
I
got it. It felt bad. I knew this was what happened. I did not think it would feel as bad as it did. But I have cleared 1 run totally legit of Super Ghouls and Ghosts. And I'm satisfied with that. This game, has modern sensibilities. It understands, time has moved on since Super Mario Bros. 1. It's seen Super Mario World and it knows what it's about. And it chooses instead to deliberately ignore that to mock you. I hate this game. I respect the hell out of it. None of this is unintentionally bad design. This is purposefully bad design all over.
It's so funny because so many games just try to be that kind of masochistic difficulty sort of deal. Mm-hmm. How do I put this? They don't commit to the bit.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like Super Ghosts and Ghouls just commits as hard as it possibly can.
It really does. And again, it gives you a full screen clear attack as much as it wants. You do have moments of empowerment. But you suck. The game knows you suck. And the game takes every opportunity to tell you that you suck. power-ups don't spawn randomly or aren't set in the level. You have to walk or pass over a specific part of the terrain, and then a treasure chest will appear. It's consistent, but you won't know it until you walk over this completely benign part of the terrain. And depending on how powerful you are at that moment, it could spawn extra health, it could spawn points, or it could spawn a tiny little devil who turns you into a frog. And more often than not, if you're low on health, it's going to be that devil.
Oh, so it's like punish? Oh, I love that.
Yes.
I love that so much.
Yes. If you do really good, it will make you do good. If you make one mistake, fuck you specifically. And it's going to put every possibility for you to make that mistake in.
This feels like the perfect game to watch somebody else play.
You are completely right, but not someone who's good at it. Like, someone who's good at it, that'll be impressive. Someone who's playing it for the first time and can't stop playing it for whatever reason.
Oh, you're just someone who
That's
can't
where
back
the
down from
money
a
is.
challenge.
Yes.
Yes.
The money is seeing the suffering. And do I think that there are much better hard games? Yes, I think I Want to Be the Guy does this much better by mixing in humor with it, for instance. But like, this game was outdated when it came out in 91. And it knew that. And it celebrated that. And like, if I had to rate games by the amount of balls they have, this is one of the ballsiest balls games.
I've just been sitting here this entire time thinking, like, how on earth am I going to edit visuals for that opening bit? Like, how do I even... I'm going to have to, like, edit something properly. I was going to spoil what the game is.
Well, you know, like, when Alpharad does it and he just moves, like, Photoshop images around?
I mean, that's basically what half my editing style is in the first place.
He got it. But yeah, Super Ghouls and Ghosts. Not as good of a game as Blue's Clues, Blue's Alphabet Book.
Yes.
But also purposefully designed to be worse than Blue's Clues, Blue's Alphabet Book.
I am delighted to hear about it, and equally delighted that I have no desire to play it myself.
I think everyone should see someone play this game once.
Oh no, absolutely. The first thing I'm going to do after this recording is done is just try to find gameplay footage of just people being frustrated at this game.
Yes. Oh, maybe the Game Center CX episode is still up. I'll try to see if I can find that.
I would love to see it. All right. Any more suffering that you need to describe, or?
No, that is all the games that I was
Anything more
able
from
to play
Grandpa?
this month. Nah. Grandpa's done. He's disowned me.
Okay. All right. So I had one big major experience this month that I absolutely adored, but to properly explain it, I first want to start with a history lesson about Age of Empires 2. Because I think this game is the absolute pinnacle of supporting a video game that no other company has reached, yet nobody ever talks about it.
Okay, alright. Yeah, give me history about history.
Okay, so, the year is 1999. Age of Empires 2, The Age of Kings releases to a glorious success. Has a good variety of civilizations to play as. I think it was 13 at first. Yeah, 13. Several wonderful campaigns depicting historical figures like Joan of Arc and Genghis Khan, both of which were built upon with an expansion a few years later. And that's where things should have ended. Ensemble Studios moved on with Age of Mythology and Age of Empires 3, and 2's fanbase just kind of slowly simmered down and faded away. But it never died. Like I've been gushing about the last 2 months, real-time strategy games are really good at capturing very loyal fan bases. Partially because of the competitive scenes that arise around them, but also because of how easily moddable they are, and how developers actively enable that modding. And there was one especially impressive mod called The Forgotten Empires, where a group of people were trying to make an add-on to get some more civilizations, more ones that they felt were forgotten by the original game, to expand it even further. And now I just want to ask, what do you think Microsoft did when they caught wind of this? Like, video game developers and fan projects, they never mix well. So what happened? What happened, do you think?
They gave them a lovely picnic and a small C&D, but also it was written on a cupcake.
Yeah, you think that with most things. But Microsoft sees the Forgotten Empires mod And years before Sonic Mania was even an idea in Sega's head, they contract that team to form the Forgotten Empire Studio specifically for the purpose of developing more expansion content for the entire Age of Empires series.
Oh, they valved it. Let's go.
Yeah, starting with the Age of Empires 2 The Forgotten in 2013, and they've continued with content for 2, 1, 3, and even Mythology since then. Like, this studio is still around today. It's still working on these expansions. They've been doing this for almost 10 years now. But surely that's all Microsoft would ask, right? You have a steady supply of income here from, like, occasional expansions. Why devote more resources to this old game? But no, these games aren't up to modern standards. Let's have this studio build the entire series back up with modern graphics, sound design, and features while still keeping the same timeless gameplay the fans have always loved for decades. And that's when the definitive editions hit.
Okay.
Which just, like, brought it straight up to on par with StarCraft 2, and just, I don't want to say it, like, has, like, taken the king of RTS games from StarCraft 2, but it kind of has.
Well, I mean, StarCraft 2 can take it from itself.
I mean, that's with a bit of effort.
It took the crown, and it just decided to leave it on the ground and say, if anyone wants it.
And then Microsoft just kind of picked it up and was like, hey, we got this slumbering series right here. Let's just dump some money into this. But then, surely that's all. You got the definitive editions, but now you got Age of Empires 4 coming out. There's a new game in this series. It's time for the definitive edition of the games. They're definitive, after all. They're their final forms. Let's let the new kid on the block have some spotlights. But then the last thing you expect is for production to go into overdrive for this now 2-decade-old game. That would be ridiculous, except that they literally released 2 expansions in the last year, as well as another last month. Which is why I'm talking about it today. And the latest one, the first release since Age of Empires 4 came out, has more content than the 2 that came before it. Production for this 23-year-old game is literally moving upward. It's gaining momentum.
Okay.
I don't think there's any other game like that in existence. No other studio where a big publisher has realized that fans love this product, hired those fans to make it better, and has just given them free reign for the last decade to just do whatever they want to make it the best product it could possibly be.
Yeah, hell, I can't think of anything.
Yeah, like, because like there's plenty of games that could have that, like Team Fortress 2, most of the Blizzard games.
The only thing that came close in my mind was TF2.
Yeah, and TF2, like, they supported it for a while, but then that died away, and just like, why? That's such an easy money. Microsoft's the only one. Microsoft! You never hear people talk about, like, that kind of support from them, but then you have this. And just the best part of all this, all this support that they've been given, how much do you think it costs right now to get the full Age of Empires 2 experience?
Gosh, with DLC, I would say 40 base and then, like, 40 for DLC.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when they released the definitive editions, just this wholehearted encapsulation of everything they've worked on, that's including like the original game, the original expansions to that, and the 3 expansions they've made, along with a 4th one that they made in the definitive edition, they baked into it, costs $20 for the definitive edition. Costs the same as Hollow Knight, for triple the content of the original game. And then each DLC expansion they've added to it, it's $10. This game, for everything that it has, this game I've put 500 hours into, costs less than a AAA experience. They gotta add one more expansion to even hit that benchmark.
Huh.
It also has a thriving competitive scene that Microsoft fully supports. It has communication with like several high-profile like community members that constantly give feedback into the game, and they implement that feedback. This, I feel comfortable claiming, this is like the best community outreach game just that has ever been made. I can't think of anything better. Age of Empires 2 loves its fans.
Yeah, brain failing to think of anything even similar. Like, what do I add? I've got nothing. You can't just hit me with unabashed positivity.
It's not supposed to exist in this industry, right?
Exactly.
You don't see Nintendo saying like, oh hey, AM2R guys, just come over here, we like you. I mean, Sega did with Sonic Mania, but like, you haven't heard anything about that, like, continuing that initiative since. This has been going on for 9 years. It's getting better and better. Like, I have no doubt that they're just gonna keep adding more. Like, Asian Mythology is, like, slated to be the next definitive edition. And, like, Asian Mythology is such an underrated gem of a game. It's like that same, like, strategy, like medieval kind of setting, but they just throw mythological units in the same time. Like you got like Greek Cyclopses fight off against Egyptian like Anubites, and it's just it's so good.
I like that. Oh, I'm going to hit people with so many yokai.
And that brings me to like what they actually added to the game, because I want to talk a bit about this.
Oh yeah,
and I want to talk about how they announced this, because you know how Steam has those little like message bars, like, oh hey, this game had this little update here, and it just kind of goes down the list.
Yeah.
I noticed one for Age of Empires 2, but it was one that had been posted like 6 months prior, but it jumped back up to like the top of the list. So like for some reason there was a 6-month-old announcement that was just being treated as new. So I was like, that's weird. Like what? Why is this here? I click on it. I'm just gonna send you this image, which I'll put on screen.
All right.
At the bottom of the announcement, there's just this.
Those are elephants.
Those are indeed elephants. You just kind of look at this. It doesn't mean anything to somebody who hasn't played, but then like me knowing this game is like, that's a elephant archer. That's the unique unit of the Indian civilization. And then there's some battle elephants there, which the Indian civilization doesn't have. Okay, then that piques my curiosity, so I keep looking through other blog posts, and just scattered throughout their old like blog posts, they're just different pieces of a puzzle showcasing a screenshot. And that second one I just sent you, those are completely new units that have never been seen in the game before. So
okay.
There's just some realization is like people throughout the community start waking up being like, oh, this is like the most fun I've ever had with like a developer teasing new content, because there's throughout social media posts and just Steam posts and just emails and just all over the place, there's just these tiny little puzzle pieces that you have to build into a full screenshot that eventually reveal like what this DLC is about. This DLC has been really cool because way back when it was just the forgotten expansion mod to the game, they obviously didn't know that they were going to have the opportunity to like build this grand game that they have now. So they kind of added very catch-all civilizations to the game. Like instead of like doing the Sicilians, the Genoesians, the Venetians, they just did the Italians.
Right.
Slavs covered like basically all of Eastern Europe, and they kind of just threw all of like India into a single Indian civilization. So now that they've been able to go on for so long, they just realized that, we can just keep doing this, so let's actually like go back and like split apart these like blanket civilizations into something that's more historically accurate. So this expansion was the Dynasties of India, and it splits the Indian civilizations into, I believe it's Hindustani, Dravidians, Bengalis, and one more that's escaping me. Gujaras. Which is just fucking awesome, because I don't know anything about like that side of the world and its history, which is one of the best things about
very well.
It's one of the best things about Age of Empires 2, because it actually teaches you like about really cool historical figures from whatever civilization that their campaigns cover. So I've been just going through these and learning about the journeys of Devapala or Rajaraja and just the conquest of Babur, and just I love that I can play a fantastic real-time strategy game and learn something about history at the same time.
Yes.
It is.
I'm sorry to not commentate, but it's just, I have nothing here to say but other than to agree with that. Just the sentiment of simultaneously learning and seeing something expand and grow, and how foreign that is for the video game industry.
Yeah, like with how much we like rag on Smash Brothers, like its refusal to go back and like change old things. Mm-hmm. Like you can imagine how delighted I am that the Forgotten Empires team isn't above just being like, okay, like we know that people have gotten used to this thing, but we feel like if we split it apart and like really try to flesh it out further, it could be something better.
Right.
I adore that in game design so much. It's so cool to watch people like try to build on something they tried before.
Yes.
Yeah, I do just want to shout out how brilliant the Forgotten Empires team is at like building onto this game even further and further, because at this point there are 42 civilizations in Age of Empires 2. Like more than triple what the original game had. And all the civilizations in that game are built off of the same base. Like you have a barracks and they have the access to the same units there. You have an archery range and the same access to the same units there. But every single civilization has access to like different levels of tiers there, and different bonuses that like allow, like one has archers that fire a little bit faster, or one has an infantry unit that regenerates hit points, just things like that.
I played Warcraft 3, I know what this means.
Yeah, and yet somehow they keep finding new ways to just flesh out things in various different ways. Like one of the new ones has an upgrade that just lets their infantry ignore all armor, which is ridiculously broken. It's like, oh crap, how are you supposed to do that? You look at their tech tree and you realize that they have the most pathetic stables out of the entire every civilization out there. So like they have a massive death ball of really powerful units, but they're slow. So you can get around them really easily.
I do love the idea of using history as a guideline for your balance patch.
No, but seriously, like you have the Franks there, and they have like really good cavalry because obviously you have the Britons with their longbows. They're really good. They have really good archers. They get really cool influences from like Indian civilizations with this one, like the armor shredding infantry. They have these really cool Urumi swordsmen. The Urumi is an Indian weapon that's basically a sword whip. It's a very thin sheet of metal.
Oh yes,
which has splash damage, which is just awesome. Got like chakram throwers and chariots that can switch between melee and archers, and it's just it's so I'm so glad that younger me had the sense to make this one of his favorite games, because it has been paid off in dividends.
Oh, I'm upset that younger me didn't. Younger me liked it, but then younger me played more Warcraft 3 custom maps.
Oh man, some of the custom maps in Age of Empires 2 are there's one called Exploding Kings, which is like it's a basic Age of Empires 2 game, but you have a king that you have to protect.
Right.
Like, that's pretty standard for like most Age of Empires 2 games. But if that king dies, explodes in a nuke that takes out like 1/10 of the map. Anything nearby just dies.
Oh, that's lovely.
It doesn't have a mod scene as like diverse as StarCraft 2, but like there's still some great stuff in there. Like they've like imported models from like old Star Wars games and Lord of the Rings games. Mm-hmm. There's one that got like models from like Zoo Tycoon and just like implemented dinosaurs in that way.
Oh, that's lovely.
It's been a delightful time. If anybody out there has like any interest in real-time strategy games, this, like, you can't go wrong with this game. Like, even if the multiplayer of RTSs scares you, because, like, it does for me, I put 500 hours into this game. I think maybe, like, 20 of those are multiplayer. There is so much single-player content here. I was just going through, like, I think there's, like, 30 campaigns? All with, like, 5 or 6 missions each? Like,
that's really encouraging.
It's literally 2 decades of just work being poured into the game for $50.
I think RTS games just have this reputation of impregnability, and I think the prominence of MOBAs that have come out of them have not helped that general perception at all.
Yeah, that and the fact that the fans of RTSs are always, like, they don't do themselves any favors advertising their games out there. They get, like, reinforced, like, oh, you gotta be so competitive at. You really don't. Like, I play Age of Empires 2 to relax. Because, like, it's just nice to build up a city, like, slowly build up an army, and then just stampede through an enemy base with a wall of elephants. Like, that just feels good.
Yeah. And it sounds much faster than a game of Civ.
Yeah. Like, yeah, if you like that civilization experience, like, you can have that here. Like, it can get a little stressful, but, like, there's difficulty options. Like, you don't have to feel bad. And if you really feel stressed out, there's cheat codes. RTSs have some of the best cheat codes out there. Like, you can just type in vroom vroom in this game, and in this medieval setting game, you just have a Cobra car with a machine gun. Then you can just drive around and destroy everything. There is a shark with a jetpack that is being ridden by a cat that shoots lasers.
I like this. That's a buddy.
You just get a random astronaut that crash lands onto the stage. It's really great. I really love this game, man.
I can tell. It sounds pretty good.
But yeah, it's really a game that deserves more credit for what it's done. Like, I appreciate people, like, really praising, like, Sonic Mania and experiences like that, but, like, nah, man, Age of Empires 2 is uncontested in this area. You want a hallmark of how a video game studio can support a decades-old game. This is that hallmark. This is the gold standard.
Very nice.
All right, and that's all I had to say about Age of Empires 2. Shall we get into Future Sight?
Future Sight!
All right, we got a bunch of stories, so let's just go ahead and get through them. Let's see what happened in the past month and then look to our futures. First up, Babylon's Fall, Platinum Game and Square Enix joint venture games as a service game. Big game. falls to less than 10 players on Steam.
I wish I could say I'm surprised, but I'm not.
This is a game that had disaster written all over it, and it was. I say this because this is a games as a service game from Square Enix, the company that has the best game that is a service in the world, financially speaking, right now.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah, FF14 is doing insane right now, and they're like, another one, though. And I hope Platinum Games doesn't die.
Platinum Games is such a weird... They either produce absolute perfection, or well, Babylon's Fall.
They make incredible games that don't sell, or okay games that sell... bleh.
I hope... I love the ideas behind their games, but... Like, Wonderful 101 is fantastic. Bayonetta is obviously fantastic. I wanted to play Scalebound so badly, but then they just make Babylon's Fall.
Yeah, sometimes they make games that they have to keep the lights on, and those games aren't great. With all apologies to people who liked the Korra game, I guess.
Oh, right, that was them too.
Yeah. Let's see. No More Heroes 3 will be ported to the PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox, and PC this fall.
Which we kind of talked about this earlier. Like, part of me is grateful for that because that's the experience of that zany series deserves to be experienced by more people. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, like, so much of that humor is kind of built around, like the finale especially, is built around Nintendo.
Yes, oh my god, if you guys don't know about No More Heroes 3, either look up the final boss or look up Velvet Chair Girl. And you will understand nothing, but you will understand everything. I want to play this game so bad. If it goes on sale on Switch, I'm getting it.
The only thing holding me back is I don't think the gameplay really appeals to me. It's just not my cup of tea. But like,
I don't think it needs to.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I don't know if it needs to.
I think that if it's just okay, and the rest of the game experience props it up, then I'm more than willing to forgive it. And I've been told it's the best No More Heroes combat has been, and I thought 2's was alright.
The raw humor and chaos of that series is something that's very few other games even come close to. And when they try, they just end up being just forced or cringy or some mixture of the both too. But like, No More Heroes knows what it is and it owns it.
Yes.
It is proud of it.
Absolutely. Want to play some good news, bad news, oh god news?
Sure.
Okay, good news. Sonic Origins has been announced, and it will release June 23rd.
That is the collection of 1, 2, 3, and something else?
1, 2, 3, and Knuckles, and CD.
CD, yeah. But that's cool.
Yeah, and this is specifically the Sonic 3 and Knuckles version, not Sonic 3 and Sonic and Knuckles. So it's the full linked game, the full linked experience, and this is the first time that Christian Whitehead and his studio, the team behind Sonic Mania, is tackling Sonic 3 and Knuckles.
Oh, hey,
as a whole.
Well, I was just saying, like, hey, they are still working on that. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
Sega took notes.
Yeah, this is all of their ports as well from the mobile versions.
Nice.
So this is all of their added content. This is going to be the best versions of all of these games.
Very nice.
It's going to be $40.
I'm just saying that if Pyrr is 20, it has more content.
Worst news. Knuckles is not playable in Sonic CD, despite being playable in all the others.
That's just why.
Also, it has de novo anti-cheat, which is a kernel-level process.
Oh, no. I recognized the name for a second. I was like, okay, that's bad, but I don't remember why.
Yes, that is bad. For those who don't know that, and I barely know it, it's a process that happens at your computer's boot up. So it is something that you cannot slow down, you cannot halt, you cannot close out of without doing a full uninstall reset, completely scrubbing the hard drive of it. And it is known to cause performance issues, and if that has any issue, it will affect your computer as a whole.
Fun.
Isn't it?
Just absolutely delightful.
And oh god news! Standalone Genesis Sonic games to be delisted on May 20th.
Because, the one thing that any studio wants to be doing right now is looking over at Blizzard, looking at their business decisions, and be like, you know what, I want to emulate that. Warcraft 3 Reforged was such a great idea. Let's do that with Sonic.
Yeah, so if you want to play video games still, if you want to play these cheap ROMs that are literally just the ROMs, for like the $3 that they're probably worth right now, because they've been re-released so many times, do that probably in the next couple days by the time this goes up, or else you won't be able to for less than $40. Or for the Switch Online service, which has Sonic 2, I think.
Yep. That's just... I understand it from a business sense. Like, that's logical. Like, you want them to buy the new product, but it's so shady.
It sure is. And then there's also the fact that you can get a $5 upgrade version for things that have stuff like menu transitions. Being able to move the camera on the main menu.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, you get fancy transitions for $5 extra.
I didn't hear about this bit.
Oh, you did hear about how they chunked it up into a bunch of different... Let me see if I can find it.
Yes, please do. I need to know.
Origins.
Just the menu transition tier? Is there also an options menu music tier? Do I have to pay an extra $2 for that? Animated title card tier?
There we go. So you can see what every version of the game has.
Okay. Right off the bat, if there isn't a version all the way to the right that does not have everything unlocked, I don't care what else is in there. What is wrong with you? Oh my god, what is... Classic music pack specific... that's...
character animation in the main menu.
Pack. God.
Character animations during music islands.
Oh... Yes, I'm so glad that their main inspirations were Warcraft 3 Reforged and Assassin's Creed.
Exactly.
I don't know what a letterbox background is, but why? It doesn't have the mirror mode on. Why? Unless those are like things you unlock in the game and they're not wanting to put it in, but like... Okay, it's free. Okay, never mind. Okay, it's free DLC. I saw that. Okay, that's 10% less stupid than the 525% that it currently is.
I like your bafflement in this confusion. It makes me happy.
It's just Sonic. Why are you overcomplicating it?
You gotta hit the new generation with what they've come to expect.
I bet that is the mindset of some executive out there. It's just like, oh, we gotta make sure the younger generations are like able to fit in here. We gotta make sure that like they recognize it. So here's the passes. They'll be comforted by the sight of all these different tiers. They'll be able to brag to their friends that they got the digital deluxe edition and guilt them into buying it themselves. You gotta have that like competition on the playground.
Kids love the mini buys. We gotta get them to buy all the minis.
May I remind you again that you can buy everything in Age of Empires 2 for this exact same price.
You may.
And you will get a much more in-depth game and experience that you will be able to play for hundreds of hours if it clicks with you.
To be fair, these are good Sonic games.
No, yeah, they're good Sonic games.
I'm not going to diss people. They're not my personal cup of tea of the Sonic series, but they're good.
And like if they're like upgraded with like Mania stuff, they might.
They're going to be the best versions of these games. But no Knuckles in CD.
That's so dumb. Like, why? No,
because they made the CD version first, and they don't want to change it.
They're gonna go back on that and be like, oh yeah, we heard the fans, and here's the free update. Maybe that's like even an intentional. If they're gonna be doing this shady with like the different business tiers, I wouldn't even be surprised.
Yeah,
that is my video game conspiracy theory.
Yep, and Amy will continue to be neglected.
Oh yep, yeah, it's modern Sonic. Like Amy doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah. Speaking of Sega, the rumor come out. New Jet Set Radio and Crazy Taxi Super Game free-to-play initiative reported.
Was this the thing where they were talking about, like, this is going to be the next Fortnite?
Yeah, no, this is part of the Sega Super Games initiative, which is to make big Fortnite-like games. And the rumors are currently that those properties are Crazy Taxi, which makes sense. Like, I could see a big city where you just do Crazy Taxi things. And Jet Set Radio, famously super pro-capitalist game.
Yeah, just it's the one thing you think of when you think skaterpunk.
You think they love authority so much.
Of course.
Yeah, Beat and Gum, they love the stock market. It's their big favorite. They skate down Wall Street.
I just love those just those out of touch like news stories, just like the highly idealistic just business people like, oh yeah, we can do something like that.
Now, to be fair, is it possible that this isn't real? Very much so. Hideki Naganuma is like the least quiet person about saying, I really want to make Jet Set Radio, but Sega won't let me. Please let me make Jet Set Radio. I want to be everyone's funky uncle.
It was him. That's where the rumor came from. He just trying to spark up the interest for it. To show them, like,
he's already working on Bomb Rush Cyberpunk, so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he's fine, and the fact that he's not spouting anything makes it go like, is this real? I don't know, but the Crazy Taxi one seems viable to me, so.
Yeah, I mean, like, if you want to try, go for it. I'm just...
Yeah.
Manage your expectations a little bit.
I mean, that's an easy one to do mini-buys with, just license music and make people pay for each track. But,
True.
I don't know. It's weird, but if we get more Crazy Taxi, I do like Crazy Taxi.
I have never played, but I've heard the reputation.
It's fun. You run the taxi cab around and you drive real fast, and you get better every time.
Yeah, I collected it. That title clued me in.
Yeah, it's taxi and it's crazy. We got a duo of release dates. Splatoon 3 will release September 9th, and Xenoblade 3 had its release date moved up and launches July 29th.
Again, just like, how? Is there any other studio out there that's just like, you know what, we're ahead of schedule?
I would think that Splatoon 3 needed more time.
Yeah,
that's what I would expect.
I swear, if that comes at the cost of like the English translation, I'm going to be not surprised, but just please get this right. I'm actually excited for that game.
Yeah, comments, why should I be excited for Splatoon 3?
I see gameplay, and you could tell me that it was gameplay from 2 or 1. I've asked a few of my commenters about it, and I'm getting, like, from, like, a mechanical standpoint, there's a few cool things there. Like, there's a Spider-Man grapple onto walls that looks neat.
Okay.
There's a bow weapon. You can play as Hammond from Overwatch in a Wrecking Ball.
Okay.
But it's still Splatoon.
Right, you're essentially introducing, 2-3 new character classes in a traditional shooter?
Expanding Salmon Run. Which I swear, if they still have Salmon Run locked behind, time gates, that was so... Why?
Oh, they will. Splatoon is always weird about time gates.
I suppose. I don't want to disparage Splatoon. I enjoy, the vibes of that series. I'm glad it's doing so well. I'm glad it's found a fan base. I just don't really feel a need to... its growth as a series isn't wowing me.
I don't know. Maybe it'll do something to really shock and impress me. But I get that it's iterative and that's nice, but that feels a tad antiquated. I want to say I feel like the differences between each Splatoon game outside of story is about the differences between each version of Street Fighter.
Yeah, I could see that.
And not 2 to 3. I'm saying 3 to 3 to 3.
It feels like it's turning into Nintendo's Call of Duty a little bit. Not to that same regard, but just they found a formula that clicks. Let's not change it too much. Just kind of throw different maps in, throw a few new weapons in there, and that's kind of all you really need to do. To be fair, so
right,
don't
but
break.
I almost feel like that works a lot better with an annual release schedule.
This is also true. Yeah.
And it feels so weirdly not Nintendo, the company who's set on innovating every chance it can get.
I mean, this is also the Mario Bros. New Super Mario series, sports games barely doing anything. They have a few.
Yeah, okay, fair. Yeah, it feels about on par in changes as New Soup, I would say. Just with much better budget.
Yeah, much better budget, and I am still interested in the Splatoon story. I won't play this, but I will be interested just to see what wacky things it does.
Yeah.
Unless they get a huge trailer that shows a bunch of new cool modes and just...
Yeah.
I don't know.
And continuing with the delays, the Mario movie has been delayed to April 2023.
Okay.
Christmas is ruined.
I guess that's true, yeah.
This is disheartening because this means that if K. Rool is in the movie, he won't qualify for K. Rool Watch in time.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. There we go.
With that said, a couple rumors on test screenings have come out. I have not cared to look at them.
I'm not gonna even look into them either. Like, that's a movie that I... Like, the voice cast alone, better or for worse, I want to just experience whatever that either brilliance or disaster is, and I'm going to enjoy it either way.
Yeah, but it did put one thought into my head, and that thought makes me incredibly excited if it turns out to be a real thing.
What?
Jack Black Bowser villain song.
Yes! Oh, yes! I didn't even consider the musical
I'm going to
side
put
of
that
things.
energy in the universe, and we're going to move on.
We're gonna have, like, sequels to the DK cartoon songs, because both Donkey Kong and Cranky Kong are in there.
Exactly!
Oh, that's juicy. I love that.
All right, next story. Sora has regular feet now.
That's the best headline to go with that.
Yes. They showed a new game. It's called, like, Kingdom Hearts 4 something, and Sora has regular feet now.
I think it's just 4. It's 4 with, like, a tagline of just, like, it's the beginning of this saga now.
Yes. And, you know, he's in modern day. He's in that, whatever that one thing that Rex
the
was
video
looking
game
at.
that Rex was playing, yes.
Yeah, that one.
And also
He's
maybe
into
Star
that.
Wars was teased in that trailer?
Yeah, I heard people saw the forest and there was, like, an AT-ST's foot visible or something. Yeah. Okay. At that point, Kingdom Hearts is kind of going away from what I would want it to be, and by that I mean what appeals to me specifically, though, which is Emperor's New Groove level, please.
Yeah, I'm never gonna get the properties. Like, if I could get, like, Atlantis, or Treasure Planet, or Emperor's New Groove, I'd be delighted, but no, like, that doesn't make sense. You go for the Star Wars, you go for the Marvel.
I just want a minigame that's the map scene from the Emperor's New Groove.
Yes.
That's literally it. That's all I want.
Gotta have Cooking with Kronk.
Okay, but admittedly, Remy is a good idea for that.
I mean,
like,
yes, they can
I love
interact
Kronk,
with each other. The worst thing about Kingdom Hearts is that they after the first one, they kind of just stopped intertwining the worlds.
Yeah.
Like, I loved the idea behind the first one, and then they just never really captured that magic again.
There's
no
a
more
lot
had
of
to go down this crazy
sterilization,
lore rabbit hole.
Yeah. And he could do that, but, like, do that but more, though.
Yeah, let like Woody and Buzz help Remy cook, because they're about the same size.
Okay, but admittedly, I do love Woody interacting with and Sully. See, when the Disney characters and Pixar characters interact with the cast that is not Sora and not the people from their movies,
just
I'm
that
thrilled.
moment of nobody's ever loved you, just coming from Woody.
Yes.
I never actually got around to playing 3, but I've seen, like, a little highlight reel of those moments.
Likewise.
Well, it'd be interesting to see 4 come out in 2029.
Yeah. This is nice that it exists. We've done this song and dance before.
Yep.
Let's see. Stanley Parable releases Ultra Deluxe Edition.
I want to play that so badly, but I cannot because I've got, like, a couple more days until I can get the Do Not Play Stanley Parable for 5 years achievement. And that
don't worry, there's a new achievement for you that only
no.
activates when you get it. It's now don't play the game for 10 years.
God damn it! Okay. You bastards.
It's called
I
Super
respect
Go
it so
Outside.
much. Stay tuned in May of 2032, where I freak out about finally getting that achievement as well. I love Stanley Parable.
It's good.
It's
I love
short,
that narrator
but it's
so much.
good.
Yeah. Yuji Naka speaks out against Square Enix over Balan Wonderworld.
I just heard about this as well. That is why is Square Enix so weird? Yeah, just end the sentence there. What?
We'll have more to say on that in just a second. However, yeah. I mean, I get that they had, like, little faith in the project and just were looking for an excuse to send it out to die, basically. And also we're working with Arzest, and I don't like Arzest at all. They killed Yoshi's Island, but yeah, it's that, but at the same time, reports have come out that Yuji Naka isn't really a great person, so...
Those... I have such a hard time with those, because hearsay is so dangerous. But at the same time, like, it's come from multiple sources.
Yeah, and it's a report from a studio that Naka came in and basically said, okay, we're taking this and this and this for Sonic, hire one guy and gut the rest of the team, and was saying it in Japanese and didn't think anyone could understand him.
Okay, no, that's just wrong.
And that's coming from someone who was on that team, so... Yeah, there's no love lost for either party here, because I didn't have love to lose. But, like, I thought it was worth saying that, the bad things happen to the bad people. And the bad thing continue happen, and it wasn't good.
Yeah. Because what Balan Wonderworld really needed was just a troubled development over all its other problems.
Yeah. But speaking of Square Enix, did you know they just sold most of their Western IPs to Embracer Group for $300 million?
I did not. What does that include?
That includes Tomb Raider, Legacy of Kain, Deus Ex, anything under the Crystal Dynamics umbrella.
Okay. Is that a good thing? Or...
essentially, they're keeping Life is Strange, Just Cause, and Outriders, and most of their other Western games they're giving away. So that would probably include Gex as well.
Oh no. Well, oh no.
Yeah. It's being sold to Big Company that owns things like Dark Horse Comics, Gearbox, and a lot of other shit.
Oh.
So it's big super company now owns most of Square's Western IPs.
Owns Gearbox. Is that Take-Two?
No, this is Embracer Group.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So, capitalism continues. Bad. But maybe these series have a future?
Yeah, maybe. Square Enix wasn't doing much with them. It's so funny to just watch all of these. Just like capitalism moving on, and just like, at least it's shaking things up. Like, you can't really stop it at this point.
Yeah. What shocks me is only $300 million for all of these. And all the studios attached.
That's like a single game's budget.
That's a pittance. Like, I believe that is less than a third of what they paid for Gearbox, so...
Yeah, getting access to Tomb Raider? Tomb Raider alone, like the legacy
Tomb Raider,
behind that?
I think they also got Hitman, so...
They just got Jeez!
I think it includes Hitman.
Okay, yeah, that's a steal.
Yeah, it's pretty good. And yeah, this has been a little bit depressing, so I've got two nice things to end it with.
Huzzah!
Yakuza 8 is going well, growing all the time, according to Studio.
I want to play those games so badly. I just know it's a huge time sink, and I have so many other games I need to get around to first.
You start with 0, then you play Like a Dragon, and then you're good. And then do whatever you need.
I know.
And this will be the direct sequel, Like a Dragon. You can also do Judgment. Judgment's also a good starting point.
Alright, keep that in mind.
Yeah. And this is just after the head of the studio has left and founded his own studio, so hearing that it's going well after that, and that it's nothing but positive, is a good thing.
Yeah. Not a perfect Dark situation.
Yeah. And then I just wanted to show you this nice little mini trailer from a game called Scrap Story. And just show off the movement for this little Paper Mario-inspired thing. Because, like, the way it moves around makes me super happy.
Oh my gosh. That is adorable. It turns into a playing with jumps, yes!
It's such fluid movement. I love it so much.
Oh, sell me on a game in 5 seconds. Yes, please.
Right. And it goes right into Paper Mario Battle. Yeah, I got nothing more. That's just cute.
Yeah, thank you for sharing.
Yeah, just made me happy. Thought I would share. And that's all I got for news. You got anything?
Nope. Everything I would have covered, you already got.
Excellent. So then, looking at future plans, we released Joy Mech Fight this month.
Yay! That felt good to get done. A bad thing about us, like, sharing our plans with these, like, what we're going to release, is that you get an inside look into how much we want to do, and then you can immediately compare that with how much we are actually able to
actually
get done.
Got out, yeah.
But hey, I've... You know what's funny about that Joy Mech Fight video? Like, I've been working on that for, like, a month and a half, and, like, as soon as I moved, I finished the second half of that video in like 2 days. It is so frustrating. I know I have I can make things quickly. You just gotta get like stars to align.
Yeah, no, I feel that completely.
Yeah, it's the most difficult part about making content creation. People are always like, oh yeah, but you get to make your own stuff. It's creatively liberating?
Yeah.
Which, like, yes, but also you have to motivate yourself, and that is hard.
Yeah, myself is lazy. I dislike myself.
Oh, this is getting too real.
Yeah. But anyway, got that, and I released the Captain Falcon episode.
Yeah, like, literally just now.
Literally just 2 hours ago.
Got any other plans for... I assume, like, the same as the...
As many times as I'm going to say Team Fortress 2, that's still coming.
Yeah, like, SFM animation, I can imagine, is just
It's that, plus just coordinating a lot of things and work schedules, and my and Authorman's schedules just not aligning. So
yeah.
It's been a lot, but, you know, that's why we have things in the meantime. And then we got one on Mother 3 coming up, and probably sneak one in on Toho as well. So
nice. The game you were talking about last.
Yeah, Toho Luna Nights.
Yeah.
Congratulations on your Bandana D episode, by the way.
Yeah, that was a nice. Just like I've moved. I've had like 3 podcasts in a row. I just need to get something out. And we were talking about Bandana D, so I was like, you know what? This guy deserves a little more love. Here's an easy idea. Let's go.
Yeah.
Had an idea afterwards that I was like, people are kind of talking like, we don't want the possession mechanics kind of just played out, which I don't necessarily agree with. I think the huge part of Kirby's charm is that he constantly saves his friends from corruption. Friendship beats corruption, and that's just a nice theme of the series.
Yeah.
But I had the idea that, like, Morpho Knight goes off and gets a new host, and by doing so, casts off Galactonite, and by doing so, Bandana D finds Galactonite's lance, and kind of just becomes, like, the inheritor of that power, and that's how you kind of expand what he is.
Ooh, okay.
Just being kind of like the apprentice to the Ultimate Warrior, and growing on a journey through there.
I like that.
Right?
Oh, that's fun.
He's a character with potential. Hal's just gotta do something with him.
Yeah.
And then I'm still working on the same stuff as usual. I'll say what it is now, because that'll, like just motivate me. I'm making a Smash concept for Dark Matter.
Okay.
Just the Kirby villain, something to embody, like, the entire horror side of the series. I really want to see that translated into a fighter. And I think it's going well. It's going well. And now I'm in a good place to actually work on things. I'm able to get a lot more work done on it. Should it release this month? I'm significantly more confident on that than I have been in the last episodes, but I've also been saying that for 3 episodes, so we'll see.
Yeah, nice. Bonus stage.
Welcome to bonus stage.
So, I'm going to give you a choice, and the other will be cast away forever. Do you want me to talk about gay pirates, or do you want me to talk about card game fails?
Gay pirate sounds hilarious. Go with that.
Okay, so the Yu-Gi-Oh! Progression series. But yeah, to just go over that, that's Our Flag Means Death. It's a great show, but I was never going to pick what you sided with. The Yu-Gi-Oh! Progression series is something that
so
has
much.
Kept me sane for the past couple months in between work, and this is by a channel called Simo, and what it is they go set by set in every single Yu-Gi-Oh! Expansion, and they digitally open a box of 24 cards, which is one set, and they take those cards, and whatever cards they have is their collection, and they have to duel with those cards. And what they do is, the next set, they open those 24 packs, and that adds to their total card pool. So they go through every individual set in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading card game's history, get what they can get, see if they can get lucky to pull off any sort of the big combos, and basically move on and just evolve with the card game. And what I love about this format is, because of what it is, you aren't getting optimal strategies ever. Because a lot of cards ended up in side decks or structure decks and whatnot. Things to bolster you outside of the main packs. Packs were always meant to supplement a core. Not having that core means the entire landscape of the game changes. if one person has a board wipe and the other doesn't, they're going to be suffering for the entire series based on the threat of that board wipe. Because what Yu-Gi-Oh! Did at the start is that it only had a couple of magic cards, but those cards were stupidly powerful. And they had to limit them very early on. Like, people will say, oh, a Pot of Greed, oh, what a meme, you draw 2. That's one of the strongest cards in the game. Being able to just get +1 card advantage at any point you want and thin out your deck is incredible.
Mm-hmm.
That's just straight up better than any other option you possibly could have at a time. It's a rare card in the first set. If you don't get that, you're suffering for the entire series. And what I love about it is that so often when you see like, oh, this game at this period of time, retrospective sort of things, you get, what is the best deck at this time? What is the most competitive deck? Or, oh, let's go with only cards from this set and we'll use the rarest cards and see what we can scrounge together. Or we'll use only commons from this set. This one, by making it so much of luck of the draw, you get that feeling of the playground metagame that you had, where you're just a kid and you're getting all of the cards you have, and you're going to be the kid with those 1 or 2 ringer cards. You're going to be the kid who plays Fiends and Dark Necrofear, or you're going to be the kid who actually pulled Relinquished and Thousand Eyes Restrict from packs and can suck up your opponent's monsters. And, like, you get to feel between the two of them, because it's just 2 guys, Simo and Nim Nim. And you get to see them latch on to specific cards and latch on to specific decks, and you get that feeling of, no, I'm the guy who plays White Magical Hat. He's still good. He still has to be in my deck. I'm the White Magical Hat guy.
Oh,
that's
yes,
what I play.
Love that.
The feeling of like trying to make it work and then having to move on, or trying to bring back an old strategy, just that feels so great to see, and it makes it just an intoxicating watch, set after set after set. They've started a season 2 with it after going through every single set, with a more robust way of like banning cards and adding cards back into the game, or pulling cards from a specific set to better enhance a strategy. And that's really, really fun and enjoyable, but gosh, it's so much fun seeing someone just try to bash their head against a wall again and again and again. Like, they end up having a meme where they just outright reference the old Wile E. Coyote cartoons, and they go, damn, you painted that tunnel against the wall so good, and you just ran right through the tunnel that you painted. You're like an expert at drawing it, and I just crashed right into it, my dude.
Oh, that sounds like a similar joy that you get from Nuzlocke or something like that.
Yeah.
You just have to go through the game, figure out, you get what you get, and you just gotta make it work. And that's one of the, it's a joy that you don't get from games a lot anymore, because they're so structured, like they have the meta builds and all that kind of stuff. It's nice to hear those, like, to have that, like, still alive in, like, card game format, because that I feel like that's been gone for ages from, like, the playground meta.
Oh, totally. And this is just, like, 2 people on YouTube coming up with a good format, but they do it well, and getting that, like, that's the spirit of card games, and that's the Yu-Gi-Oh! That I really fell in love with. Just seeing something happen for the first time, and the idea of, because they're both experts of the game, but you can tell which sets and which cards they have more or less familiarity with, or when they came into the game, especially when they go, okay, I'm going to synchro summon with my Ronin Toden, and they go, okay, read the first line of text on Ronin Toden, and they go, cannot be used for synchro. Yo, this card's garbage!
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, but just that combination of personal attachment from the players, the idea of expanding strategies, and seeing failure at its finest when things don't come together is just really, really enjoyable. I had a great time going through it, and it kept me sane in between work shifts. Just because these are about like 45 minutes to an hour long each, just to pop one in, relax, decompress, and enjoy it. Oh, you know, sometimes YouTube is good.
Yeah.
Sometimes it gives you exactly what you need in a way that you didn't know you needed. And I appreciate that. And like, it's not like they're a small channel. I think it's like a 200,000 Yugi tuber. But it's absolutely worth going through, and it made me real happy.
I'm glad to hear it. Honestly, you've piqued my interest in that. I want to check it out myself now.
Yep. To pique your interest in the other, Our Flag Means Death is a pirate show. It's done by Taika Waititi, and he plays Blackbeard.
Oh, there was one. Like, there are a few directors you could have given me over that one. That would have piqued my interest more. Okay, yeah.
Historical fiction romantic comedy.
Yeah, all right.
That's my entire pitch. That's all you get. You picked wrong.
Alrighty. So, without stressful this month has been, I kind of went back to some old comfort shows that I've been watching, and I need to. Have you heard of the show The Dragon Prince?
Yes, that's from some of the animation team of Last Airbender.
Yeah, original creators.
Yes, okay.
This show is the spiritual successor to the Avatar: The Last Airbender that the Legend of Korra kind of failed to live up to. I feel very confident making that claim. I think this is one of, if not, I don't know which I like more, Avatar: The Last Airbender or The Dragon Prince. This show
already that's overhyping it to hell.
Yeah, no, I can back this up. I can back this up. Everything that Avatar: The Last Airbender did good, this show is also doing good. Has the same lovable characters, great world building. Like it replaces the bending of elements in Avatar: The Last Airbender with schools of magic. It's more of a more fantasy based in this one. Got like elves and dragons and all that kind of thing, which always a fun setting.
Right.
But more than anything, it does the same thing that Avatar: The Last Airbender did, where it covers very serious subjects in a way that is accessible to all audiences. Like Avatar: The Last Airbender is just a fun show to go through, but it also covers like the hardships of war, of prejudice, class differences, and does so impeccably well in a way that's like adults can like relate to, but children can also like learn about and understand in a healthy environment, which is why it's just a top tier show. And Dragon Prince has been doing the same thing. The reason I think Dragon Prince has an edge that makes it like comparable is because of all the great things about Avatar: The Last Airbender. Its villains are a little one-dimensional. Like Fire Lord Ozai is very much a villain for the sake of being a villain. Like Zuko's story is obviously just like there's nothing better than that. But that's because
I'll give you everyone but Zuko and Azula.
Yeah. But like the actual main antagonist of the series is he's a main antagonist, and that's
actually Zhao. I also will defend Zhao a bit.
Yeah, I'll give you that. But the villain of this story is one of the best that I've ever seen in a work of media. I also don't want to spoil it because like I really love this show. I don't want to give as little detail as possible. But it follows the it kind of has a similar setup where the villain has children in the same way that Fire Lord Ozai has like Azula and Zuko. But it's a much more loving relationship now. And the villain starts off as a fairly decent guy. Like he's selfish, he's got his pride, but like he's trying to do the right thing. And the show takes you on just his slow deterioration from like this flawed but good individual into just the power-hungry maniac he eventually becomes.
Oh, that's always good. Seeing the devolution is just...
Yeah, but where that really like... Imagine if there was a loving relationship between Ozai, Azula, and Zuko, and just watching them trying to hold on to that. Like, watching it like either finally shatter in tragic circumstances or drag them down with him. It is fantastic. Like, impeccable writing. I don't want to say equivalence because I feel like this show stands on its own, separate from Avatar: The Last Airbender. Although the main character is voiced by the same voice actor that does Sokka, and that is it's
good.
It's so delightful.
Good, more Sokka, please.
Oh, and you get more of it in this show.
Oh, thank God.
If you've been missing, I don't want to disparage Korra too much. Like it had its moments, but like
it did.
It also had a lot of disappointments.
It did. That was called Season 2.
Yes, I agree with that.
The good part was called Season 3.
Season 1, I loved the end of Season 1. Like, I can't remember the villain's name, but that was such a compelling villain. Just like the conflict between like benders and non-benders. That's so logical for that world.
I will never forget the scene where it says, I'm on a boat.
Yes! But like, at the same time, it just kind of fell flat in so many areas. It didn't capture the same charm. Dragon Prince captures that charm in spades. I'm sorry, I want to gush about so many different things, but I'm trying to avoid spoilers. Oh, here's one. Another great thing about Avatar: The Last Airbender was just Toph. Just Toph in general.
Yes.
I think that is the pinnacle of representing a disability in a way that's fair to what they're struggling with, but still just making a fantastic character out of it.
Yes.
Because sure, jokes are made at Toph's expense, but she's still capable, and she's found ways to move around how much harder her life is.
Oh yeah, and she makes the jokes back. Like,
Exactly.
She only takes the jokes because she invites them, because she's found other ways to deal with it. Plus, I mean, there it is!
Yes,
That's what it'll sound
like when one of you sees it.
It's one of the best jokes in the show!
Why can't I help you with the flyers? Just slams it onto the wall. It's upside down, isn't it? Okay, I'll go with you. There's a character like that in this game. The main protagonist, you follow just a few young kids that are royalty in their attempts to save the Dragon Prince. That's the basic goal of the series.
Okay.
And these kids have an aunt, and maybe like mid-30s, mid-40s. It is just a badass single aunt who is deaf.
Okay.
Has a sign language interpreter around her just to be able to like talk to people. She's a character that always goes around with this big tower shield and a sword, and always loses the sword because she just loves bashing people with the shield. Just the kind of character that just has a preferred fighting style that is so not like conventional, and just makes it work and is an absolute badass because of it. But
delightful.
you still have that kind of humor of just being like, "Why are you shouting? I can't hear you." Just kind of playing off of the benefits and drawbacks of sound, and yet despite her drawbacks, like she's still a general. She's still the best fighter in the entire show.
Right.
You have this really sweet one of the most powerful moments I've ever seen in an animated show, where she's saying like a heartfelt goodbye to a long past sibling, and it's just like a solid 2 minutes of just her signing, and just like you can see the emotion growing on her face.
Oh.
And like it's not even like an interpreter or anything like that. It's just kind of like you have subtitles on to understand it, but it just like it's wholesome. This show hits those same wholesome vibes. I think it does so in a little bit better in some areas than Avatar: The Last Airbender. Like it sacrifices a bit of the goofiness for a bit more heart wrench, which I really, really appreciate.
Okay, yeah. It's interesting to think of it not as an evolution of Avatar and saying that it's better than it, but saying that it's a logical next step to it in terms of maturity for its audience.
Yes. It frustrates me so much, because this show deserves so much more praise than what it's getting right now, but Netflix has done such an awful job advertising that this is from the same people that made Avatar: The Last Airbender. I didn't know that until I actually looked it up myself. That's one of the easiest sells.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's frustrating, but like, I can see some people being on the fence because the animation style is a little jarring. It's kind of that same cartoon feel, but with 3D models.
Oh, it's a Rawubby.
Yes. A better quality, but it like they had like a stylistic choice in the first season where the frame rate was a little, I don't know how to describe it. It was a little off, which they went back on for the second and third ones, which I could see that turning people off, but like,
oh, it's a Rawubby.
Okay, yeah, fair. But just like, I love this show so much. If any of you liked Avatar: The Last Airbender, which so all of you out there, and you haven't tried this show out, like, give it a shot, please. It has a bit of the same stumbling blocks of Avatar: The Last Airbender. It's a little slow to start. It's kind of got like childish humor at the beginning, but like once it gets going, like it is the characters are all wholesome, adorable. They all go. You empathize with their struggles and cheer for their victories. One of the most adorable relationships. Like, it blows Aang and Katara out of the water.
I think I will at least dip my toes in the coming month.
If you do, please let me know. I love, like...
Oh, can do. Oh, that motivates me more than anything. I don't know if anyone else feels this way, but just being able to talk about a show with someone and just be able to bounce back and forth, that makes me so much more engrossed in being able to even pay attention to it.
It is a good.
Good.
I would gush about it more, like specific characters, like, oh my god, like, the Zuko equivalent in this is just the best himbo I've ever seen.
That is not what I expect from a Zuko equivalent.
Well,
but
we'll just like
it.
the son of the...
No, I get you.
And just watching that himbo slowly have his heart broken by, like, his father going down a dark path, it's such good writing.
Good, break the himbo.
Okay, that's all I want to say, because if I gush more, I'll spoil things.
Fair. Name your favorite character. For the people.
Okay, yeah, probably Soren. That's the himbo.
Characters named Soren seem to be consistently good.
Right? Okay. So now, let's move on to hear from you guys.
Yeah, welcome to the Comment Codec.
So I have it was so funny, because last time we were talking about getting comments episode, we're kind of surprised that, nobody used the link for, like, the hashtags we could pull from the comments. We were so confused. Turns out people were using it, and I'm just an idiot, because I had the comments and links hashtags blocked on my comments, because you get, like, spam things when people ones are annoying, so I kind of just got rid of them altogether.
Yeah.
So I had, like, 20 comments hidden away, that we were able to get to a few of them now. I am intentionally not grabbing all of these, just because I feel like that is a bad precedent to set. So it's like, sorry if your comment didn't get featured, but, like, we can only go through so many of these, and as the podcast grows, it's only going to get worse. So
yes,
just gonna go through a couple of these and just see what we think.
Yes.
I want to shout out Camp the MVP. I'm not going to read the entire comment, because Camp's been kind of doing the side comments, just sharing their own Gaiden thing of just, like, games they've been playing.
Mm-hmm.
Just want to shout out that those are really well written. I've been enjoying reading them.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Have a question from Justin.
Okay.
From the month before, because it's an excuse to talk more about Kirby. What aspect of Kirby and the Forgotten Land story lore do you like the most? Story lore specifically. I thought that was an interesting take, because we haven't really talked about, like, the lore implications of the Forgotten Land.
Mm-hmm. For me personally, it's the fact that he is. Oh, I'm sorry. I should put extra spoilers for Kirby.
I'll edit it in.
Okay, extra spoilers for Kirby. For me, it is Morpho Knight's name, and the fact that his subtitle is now the Dream Eater. And I feel like that recontextualizes so much, because I want you to think back to how many times that butterfly appeared before, and how many times it landed on Kirby.
And how it's just never eaten the ultimate dream.
It can never absorb him. It's looking for it. It's not just, a cute butterfly. It is now recontextualizes everything. Something recognizes Kirby as the strongest player in this story, and it is incapable of rendering him into a malleable husk.
Yeah.
Like, I love the Kirby lore in general, and obviously, and here we are, is one of the strongest bits of just one phrase storytelling that is out there, but I love it when the story ties it back to Kirby, and I will always love how everything ties back to Kirby. That's why I love the D-to-D lore so much, and that's why this little bit of Morpho Knight recontextualizing his incredibly limited, but somehow incredibly eye-opening relationship with Kirby.
Yeah, I like that. The thing that's got me just kind of curious is obviously this is a forgotten civilization of maybe humanity? What I really just has got my brain just worrying is how that connects to Shiverstar, because that's also like the Earth equivalent in like Kirby's realm. Is that where the people ended up? I have so many questions about just I feel like so many apocalypses have happened in the Kirby lore, and like Kirby's the only thing that survived it.
Yeah, that's potentially true. I mean, what I took from that was that humans populated Popstar, and then over thousands of years, they turned into Waddle Dees. So Waddle Dee is the final form of humanity.
That's kind of what I was thinking of as well. But at the same time, like, Adeline exists.
Yeah, it's a genetic offshoot. Like, Paint Roller exists. What the hell is Paint Roller?
Okay, fair. Just that little bit of lore fascinates me as, like, the people who left and continue to a land of dreams. Like, that sounds like Dreamland. Yes. It sounds like they're, like, teasing that, yeah, they were the precursors to, like, the inhabitants of Popstar. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. I don't have an answer, but I love the speculation. Yeah. Let's see. We had a comment from Agent Happy Potato asking about guests, which, like, yeah, we've I'm not against the idea, but I'd like to like build this into something a bit stronger first, if that makes sense.
Agreed. I would feel underdressed at this point.
Yeah. Be like, hey, we've got like what is we got like 15 episodes, but like you want to establish something before you like branch out in those sorts of directions.
You will hear a sponsorship before you hear a guest, probably.
Yeah, probably. Had a comment by Chuckles Channel asking about Fraymakers, the upcoming indie Smash Brothers. Are you familiar with this?
I am. I supported it.
Nice, I did too. I don't have much just to say about like actual game. I love the concept, an indie Smash Brothers. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I really like how they're trying to build in assists. That's a really cool idea that fleshes out the genre in a different direction when compared to Smash Brothers or Nick All-Stars or that. I forget it every time. What's the Warner Bros. 2v2?
That was that Rumbleverse? Or Multiverse, okay.
Yeah, great idea. Can't wait to see how they build upon that.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't really have much else to say. I mean, I guess, like, characters, I'd really love to see Hollow Knight in that.
Yeah, same. Like,
get the indie darlings.
I appreciate that they are spending so much time on individual characters and really letting them breathe. And obviously, McLeod Gaming is a great pedigree for this kind of game specifically.
Of course,
so, very, very thrilled for that. The fact that Octodad is in has sold me on the game entirely, because I love Octodad. I can't wait to beat up people as a regular human father. With that said, I hope that it has a lot of extra content and a lot of celebration of its individual characters as opposed to just putting them in. Because we've seen with Nick All-Star Brawl that really matters a lot. That legacy and side content and being able to put these characters on a pedestal and make new fans of them really means a lot for a game's longevity.
Yeah, like, it's great to have good gameplay, but you gotta have, for a game like this especially, to be considered in the same breath as Smash Brothers, you gotta have that same celebration going on at the same time.
Yeah, Smash Brothers has kind of codified that into the genre, so it's what, fairly or not, a lot of people have come to expect from it.
I'm hopeful. It's got the Rockman from FTL, and that's got me. I'm never gonna switch off of that one.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna play Octodad. I mean, until they find the Grappler, in which case I'll play them. And if it's Octodad, hell yeah. Do you know that Octodad being a wrestler is canon?
No, but that's delightful.
Because they did video game character wrestling as just an online show where they would have various characters wrestle each other. And there was a VGCW poster in Octodad Deadliest Catch. So Octodad making Ganondorf tap in the middle of the ring clean is canon in Octodad.
That's just amazing. I don't have anything else to say to that. I had a one-sided comment towards me that's going to take like 30 seconds to answer. Rick Naturalis was asking about my thoughts on The Legend of Vox Machina.
I can answer that.
Oh, you have you watched it?
I've watched it, yeah.
Oh, nice. Okay, never mind. Let's talk about Legend of Vox Machina.
Yeah.
I've watched the entirety of Critical Role. I'm curious what your thoughts are, because I'm pretty sure you haven't.
I have not at all.
Okay.
I love the Briarwoods as villains. Adore them.
Yes.
I think that Matthew Mercer and Grey DeLeslie are giving all-star performances as their voice actors for this, doing an incredible job with them. And the way that they build the lore, the way that the Loro, am I saying the last name right? DeRollo. The way that the DeRollo family lore is baked into it, the way that they frame it is absolutely fantastic. Thrilling time. It takes 3 episodes to get there, and I don't like those first 2 episodes at all.
That's fair. I understand why that is, because those first 2 episodes were originally going to be the only thing, but as their Kickstarter literally exploded, they were like, oh yeah, we can like add more arcs, so let's add the Briarwood arc. That's everybody's favorite, like for obvious reasons.
Yes.
Because it is amazing. Yeah, the first 2 episodes were more to show off a side of the show that was never in like the live gameplay.
Oh, it was bad.
Yeah, it wasn't really... It's just, this show has fascinated me because, like, as someone who has watched all of the episodes and, like, has all the context, it feels rushed, but I feel like there was no way they could not have been, because you are taking literally thousands of hours of playing Dungeons & Dragons and cramming that into an episodic series, and that's just difficult.
I will say that the whole Briarwoods arc, I felt that even though I felt like it could have used a little bit more time, I thought it was very well paced for what it was.
It's interesting to hear that.
Yeah, and the way that it focuses in on Percy and lets him develop, and the fact that it gives him so much time, and it uses the visual medium to enhance his story in ways that the podcast couldn't, I felt was incredibly, incredibly strong.
I'd actually disagree with that. Like, all of those visual, like, the visual brilliance, Matt Mercer described those, like, beat for beat. Like,
really?
There is not a visual storyteller better than Matthew Mercer.
Okay.
Like, all the best moments in that, like, they're there because Matt Mercer did them himself.
You know, that's fair. That is fair.
Yeah. I enjoyed it a lot. I'm always going to prefer the live format, just because when you get a group of voice actors together who are all really invested in the storytelling medium, and have them play Dungeons and Dragons, like, that's just that. There's nothing like it, man.
Yeah.
But it's still a good show. I enjoyed it. It was fascinating seeing how they decided to change things around to fit more into a TV show instead of a live Dungeons and Dragons game.
Yeah. Fuck Scanlan. God, I hate that character. And, like, no offense at all to Sam Riegel, because he is playing that character to perfection. Like, that is exactly what that character is supposed to be. So well executed. Fuck him.
Oh, man. Because I agree, but it makes, like, once he starts actually getting depth in the story, hit 10 times harder.
Oh, I'm sure. But right now, if he died, that'd be super cool.
Oh, I can't say anything, but, like, yeah. I get you. For this point in the story, like, it's intentional, and, like, yeah.
I know it's intentional. They're doing a really good job, but he has the most go-away heat I can give to a character. Like, I'll even say he has good scenes. I'll even say that. Fuck him. But yeah, overall, I really enjoyed the back half. It was something that I felt got much stronger as it went along.
Yeah, I agree with that, yeah. Like the first few episodes were more of a novelty, just seeing something that I had heard, like, that they've talked about having happened in the campaign, but we'd never gotten to see. Mm-hmm. And that was it. For me, that was able to carry it through it being a little more lackluster than... Because it's also introducing characters to me that I know through and through, that they've well established over hundreds, like, I think it's like 115 episodes in that campaign. It's ridiculous.
Right.
Yeah, once it got to the stuff that I knew was going to be good, and having that play out exactly as I had hoped it for, that was just a delight to watch.
Nice.
All right, let's do one more. I can pull another one from Justin here, just because I think the topic's fascinating. Take a look at why video game movies and TV shows are generally underwhelming. Thinks the Sonic 2 movie is an exception to that, but I'm more talking about movies such as Mortal Kombat and the Ratchet & Clank movie.
Okay, you best be meaning the new Mortal Kombat and not the old Mortal Kombat.
I think the new Mortal Kombat, yeah.
Okay, because the original movie, oh, that's so good. It's so cheese, but it's so good.
I think that right there is why a lot of they don't embrace the absurdity or the cheesiness that comes from being a video game. Like, I feel really strongly about that with the Monster Hunter movie. Like, fuck that movie. I hate that movie. It takes this franchise that you literally have a cat sidekick that goes around with you. You drink, like, an entire table full of food to give yourself, like, half more of your hit points. You're literally being bashed by literally world-ending fireballs and just getting right back up as usual. It's a goofy series.
Yeah.
But they try to make us so, oh yeah, this is the US military going into this area, and they've gone through another dimension, now have to survive in this war-torn land. It's just, fuck off.
Yeah. It's... Video game movies feel very, very insecure when they're not being made for children.
I would agree for the most part, except Arcane exists.
Well, yes, but that's not a movie. That is the team true. Very, very much caring about the product. Castlevania was the same way for the first 2 seasons, at least. I do not care for season 4.
I enjoyed it, but I can see the flaws, no problem.
I enjoy Isaac a lot.
Isaac is great.
That is the only plot line that I feel gets resolved in a way that satisfies me.
I do feel like it's kind of a case-by-case basis. It kind of depends on the lore and the expectations of the game that you are trying to, like, create. Like, you take something like Mortal Kombat, and you want to be invested in, like, the character you've grown and known and love. And for some reason, they just throw in, like, no, but here's the movie character. I want to focus around him. I hate when video game adaptations do that.
Mm-hmm. Or just, like, this is the movie version of the character. They're different. They're serious.
At that point, why are you making an adaptation? That is just brand recognition, like, just trying to piggyback off of brand recognition. Which is, I think, a lot of video game, like, media falls into that, unfortunately, because people, like, studios are looking for a quick buck. Like, oh, people like this. Let's purchase the rights to these and try to make something, like, real quick.
Yeah. And I think that there's a difference depending on what you're adapting. Like, the Kirby anime was very much based around Sakurai going, yes, let's use these characters that I've made. What for? Political satire. And it's just a commentary on society for, like, 100 episodes. And, like, it's nice and digestible for kids, and that's exactly what it wants to be. And it has an identity of its own. It's using the medium in a unique way. It's not trying to... It is turning the games into something that they're not, which is why I think Sonic actually has the most success with things, because Sonic almost always takes the spirit of his games and thrusts it into whatever he's in. Almost to a fault. Mm-hmm. Like, the Sonic the Hedgehog movie does change things around, but what Sonic and what the character of Sonic is doesn't fundamentally change. Like, this is still a movie about Sonic the Hedgehog.
Agreed.
That's seen in Sonic Sadam. That's seen to a huge fault in Sonic X. And that's we're seeing now with Sonic 2. It's celebrating the game so much. I think that, like, one of the biggest dichotomies you can see is in Street Fighter, the movie. Because you have people who are very clearly just signing up for an action movie, are just doing very generic action movie things. Like, my god, Jean-Claude Van Damme as Guile is one of the most lifeless performances that you can imagine. But then you have Raul Julia as M. Bison, and he has explicitly played the games because his kids love them. He is having the time of his life overacting and being as over the top as possible. He is trying to embody the feeling of the final boss that you could never defeat with his grandiose over-the-top acting, and he eats up every scene. He is an objective delight to watch in that film.
For sure. Well, I think that's the tent pole. That just, whether or not the people making and acting the video game understand what it is they are making something about. Yes.
Best adaptations in general, I think the Professor Layton movie is okay. A little dull at times, but it's Professor Layton. As said, Sonic, Detective Pikachu does okay at it.
Yeah, props to it. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, enjoyable. The live-action Ace Attorney movie. That's fantastic.
Oh, really?
Yes, because they try to adapt the energy of the games one-to-one. So, like, a character will say that Edgeworth has a overly fluttery cravat, and then Edgeworth will go, I object to that. My cravat does not flutter to that extent. And then every single person in the gallery does a pratfall. Simultaneously. Phoenix is doing weird facial gestures and, like, trying to beg the parrot on his arm to testify. It plays up the hamminess of it to such an extent that it becomes farcical, but it doesn't lose the heart of it. So, yeah, the live-action Ace Attorney movie, that one's an all-timer.
Nice. Are there any that, are there any that you want adapted that you think would be particularly good? Just because it's fun to talk about.
Let's see, Earthworm Jim was already a TV series, that was good. On that same vein, I think that Monkey Island or Grim Fandango or Psychonauts A lot of those sort of properties have a great propensity for this sort of thing.
Yeah, Psychonauts especially. I would love just a TV series about just going through just different people's psychologies.
Mm-hmm. I think those are all slam dunk concepts. Not Metal Gear.
I can't see them getting Metal Gear right. I'm sorry.
There's been a Metal Gear movie in the works since the mid-2000s. And there's a reason for that.
I know Metroid gets tossed around a lot. I don't see that working.
I could see it working only if you structure it like Samurai Jack.
Okay. Oh, yeah, okay, I could see that.
If it is mostly without dialogue and is just Samus encounters a thing.
I just don't have... For a good Metroid movie, I don't know if I could see Nintendo signing off for how awful Samus's past is.
I don't think you can make a good Metroid movie. I don't think it's adaptable to that. I think it needs to be episodic.
Yeah, I see that. I want a Team Fortress 2. I want to...
Well, they tried. Valve was too slow.
Yeah, but if they tried again, it'd still work.
It would, but they'd be too slow again.
Yeah, but I can dream.
You can dream. Those characters can do anything, and they do it well.
I don't have many. I've wanted something in the StarCraft universe for so long.
Mm-hmm.
But with the Halo series they're pushing out right now, and just, it's fine. But, it's fall in the same boat.
I think what we're saying with all these ideas is that for all of them that we want them, but we want them not to do this story, but again. We want more stories in this world, in this universe. And I think that's the big insecurity with adaptation of we want to make this thing that embodies all of the aspects and retells the story for the mass market, so to speak, as if Hollywood isn't already underneath video games in terms of profitability.
Yeah.
Which is why you get stuff like Silent Hill, which is mostly Silent Hill 1, but Pyramid Head's there sometimes.
Yeah. I do feel very validated, though, because, the one thing I was asking for so long is that I hate playing it, but I love the lore of League of Legends so much, and just, thank you.
No, that's going to be a gold standard for years to come.
I don't see them top. I will say, just adding on to that, there's so much they could make in that universe. There's 20 shows worth of stories together. I'll throw this out. I want a Bilgewater story centered around an Eldorado sort of duo between Twisted Fate and Graves. That would be amazing.
I could see that.
Get a Road to Eldorado sort of story, just going on with those two going on separate adventures.
I could feel that. Throw Tom Kench into that, and I'm sold.
Yes! Just throw Tom Kench into anything, really.
I love Tom Kench.
He's so good. But yeah, that's video game adaptations.
Yeah.
All right. That is going to be the end of our April episode. Tune in next time where I will hopefully not have to apologize for not finishing the Dark Matter episode again.
It's okay. By next month, Team Fortress 2 still won't be out.
Yay!
I won't apologize.
Content creation's hard, but small things like this make it a little easier. So thank you all for helping us enable these little outlets for us.
Yes, thank you very much for letting us do things that make us pretend that we're productive. Goodbye.
Goodbye. It's funny because it's true.